Hello and welcome back once again for our last match of the day, and this is going to be the title match. It's going to be Geekay going up against SSG. We just very recently saw these teams going at each other, and it was a 5-map banger of a series. So I hope for a repeat performance, especially since I just realized that we only had 3 O's today. So surely this one's going to go the distance, right?
I think so. This is not going to be a 3-0. I hyped this up earlier in the day, Zoe. I still fully believe that this will go 5 maps.
Be wrong.
Yes, I cannot be wrong, okay? This is going to be the one. Stay tuned. It's going to be
I do think there's a good argument to be made that this is likely to be a close series simply because these teams are kind of so different and stylistically. I think GK is a team that likes to really play these like high mobility styles with the ball, and we've seen them play Wuyang and Lucio. We've seen them, be really the team that's pushed Lifeweaver to the forefront at the highest level. And I think on the opposition side, Hawk loves to play these heavy ground tanks. I don't think Spacestation are going to be slacking when it comes to playing a Diva comp, trying to match that mobility game. But I think if Hawk's able to really, get his teeth sunk in here on the Zarya and just have a big performance, put a lot of resources into that, there's a reason this guy's been on top of the world when it comes to competitive Overwatch. He has what it takes to compete at this level and, to maybe be one of the best tanks in NA right now. And I think that's going to be a key part of Spacestation having success in this series.
Yeah.
Spacestation came back right into this stage with quite a few changes. They came in sweaty too. They've been try-harding all stage long, which we of course can appreciate. As you're seeing in the replay right now, this is their last meeting in week 6. We did see both CJ and UV respectively on map 1 and 2 putting a monster performance on Wuyang, quite a Wuyang showcase. Will we see more Wuyang of either of those teams today after the quote-unquote nerfs?
I feel like for GK, that's kind of been their identity in stage 3. And I feel like their identity, going back to all of this year, right? It's either Ultraviolet pops off when it comes to Diana, and then it was the Lifeweaver BAP composition, and now it's been the Wuyang. But with Wuyang nerfed, got questions about GK because they're forced to go up against a Spacestation gaming lineup where they all play comfort, chronic, lights out on the Freya, sugar-free, best tracer in the Western world probably. And then Hawk is pretty happy to just play some of these quote-unquote off-tanks, right? The Diva, the Zarya, this is what Hawk wants to do, and he's been permitted to do so in stage 3. So this is GK, backs against the wall, not being allowed to play their comfort heroes, and meanwhile SSG, they're flourishing.
That's, the rising star versus a team that was, on top of the bullet in NA for a while and is struggling to kind of retain that mark given how resurgent SSG has been this stage. And as you said, Johnny, this is an SSG that really wants it bad this time, that is taking it full force, that isn't giving up anything for free. Still, their opponents, talk about a team that has been able to endure adversity, that has been able to challenge some of the best squads in the world. Lethal, I think he's one of the best hit scans in NA, has incredible flexibility as well to match. It could be something they look to do, right? It's really push that pace, push that tempo, put the pressure onto Chronic. Do not let him have that space to work with. And I think that aggression, that speed, maybe Kuffa could be a big element in that too. So, I think there's good reason to think this is going to be our most competitive match of the day. That being said, I feel like if you're able to win on your opponent's comfort, right? If GK can win some rush maps or vice versa, if SSG are winning in these high mobility matchups where Kuffa can play ball, either one of those, to take your opponent's home turf and win on it, would be huge in the series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see if GK, if they opt for actually playing more the Brawl maps, if they want to play more Symmetra, because Maimon brought it out recently, but it didn't look too good. I don't think that's the hallmark style of GK. So it's to be decided in this series. Okay, are you going to lean more on Kuffa playing the Hazard, one of his signature heroes, and are we going to try to pull off this Freya Tracer Hazard composition? Or are you instead saying we can't match SSG, we're going to try to play more 5-man stack and play more Brawl heavy?
I think Sim is good, Johnny.
Sim is good, but Maimon Sim, is it good enough?
That's the question. The Tracer is so compelling, right? It's can you really convince me to take this guy off Tracer? That's a tough ask. I just think GK, though, they're a team that's really good at some of these wacky cheeses, right? Maybe they didn't catch in the first week, but they've had some time now to practice it. They've had a week of scrims to put into it. I see the vision of this team being actually maybe one of the better sim teams in NA because of historically they have not been scared to do things that no one else is doing, right? To really push the limit and to play a different style. And they would be doing that in NA if they went in a sort of a sim direction on a map or two here. Legendary. 100% escort? Okay.
Love to see
I mean, in the end, though, these stats are just telling me that these teams are pretty closely matched, right? Interesting that Geekay actually have a higher map win percentage than SSG. But in the end, like, winning the head-to-head, that's what counts, right? The map wins are nice.
Okay,
Being able to, like, dominate weaker teams is great, but you got to be able to beat the strong teams. That's what gets you to Stockholm, right? That's what get you these top seeds.
Extinction did go map 5 against SSG like 2 weeks ago. So maybe SSG suffered a little bit from losing some of these maps here. There we go.
That's the one. I mean, Geekay has been able to play close with those top teams, right? They went 3-2 against Team Liquid. It was a 3-2 against SSG. And they took that Nightmare, like the other team that is kind of on that bubble into that top 3. They beat them 3-0. So Geekay has playing it close with those top teams and 3-0'd every other team in their region. So naturally, that's going to be reflected in their stats.
Yeah, as we take a look at the series score from very recently, of course, as well. Very tough for GK losing those 2 last maps, because even though, you know, they got the Reaper ban out of map 4, and then we saw the Tracer ban onto map 5, but still Sugar-Free just like flourished regardless of what he needed to play. It's like, okay, we'll play Zarya Reaper on Saravasa, and then okay, or sorry, the other way around, we'll play Zarya Tracer rather on Saravasa, and then we'll play Zarya Reaper on New Queenster. So you can't really target ban SSG in that kind of way. GK, they didn't really have any success with that, so I think they'll have to go a different way about their bans this time around.
I'm interested to see predictions for this one. I went with SSG, but I have to admit it wasn't like a convincing, like, yeah, they got it. Like I really can see this being either one's game. I think this is all going to come down to the map picks. This is all going to come down to some ban decisions and how early in this series they're being made.
I think it's a big deal that SSG come into this match as the higher seed, right? Because that gives them a bit of optionality, like in opening up that first control, which is, I think, a key part of how they won the last time these 2 teams faced off, right? Was coming off a control win. You kind of dictate from a loser pick perspective. I do think this is likely to be super close, but I also went with SSG.
And I too went with SSG. We can't put ourselves in this position.
You're going last, Johnny. It's on you.
Us.
It's on you, bro.
Yeah, but we submitted this at like 9 a.m. Like the caffeine was still making its way to my brain cells. And so, you know, at the time I was just like...
If I had been doing the pred right now, I would have been dangerously close to predding GK, honestly. I do see like a very clear vision for them on how they want to win this series. And I think especially if they can work in the sim, have some funky cheeses there, they can have some like nice wrecking ball, some dive maps. I'm kind of liking GK right now. I'm actually kind of regretting my pred. I kind of think GK might pull it out of the hat here in the playoffs.
I'm all in on SSG.
All right, I'll be the one to switch. I'll be the one to switch on the record.
Are you flip-flopping?
I'm flip-flopping. I'm flip-flopping.
Yeah, that's Johnny's MO. Like, you can't just...
That's what I'm saying. Somebody had to, Johnny.
Personal growth.
Somebody had to.
You know, I love that for both of you, I guess. Ooh, we're going to Samoa. SSG's pick. That is the map they won last time. So...
I'm actually kind of surprised they go Samoa and not like a Lijiang Tower in terms of like how these 2 teams match up. I would have liked Lijiang given how good SSG are on these like low ground rush styles. But I wonder if this says anything about maybe a specific strategy, what they want to bring. Maybe the bans will help tell us a little bit more. And the opening Winston ban on Samoa, pretty interesting. And Winston ban's a relatively impactful ban against GK, who are a team that I think likes to run Winston more than most of the competition here. Also, it kind of protects tank, so Hawk, if he wants to play the Zarya on this first map, free to do so.
Yeah, I think the Winston ban makes a ton of sense. And then Kiriko coming out from GK here as well. You know, I'm leaving the door open for some ultraviolet cooking in this series. You know, we've seen ultraviolet on so many different heroes in the past, and always is like one of the carry performers for GK. So like the Kiriko that makes no Susu. Maybe we'll just see the Wu Yang, but I'm leaving the door open for, you know, maybe a little bit of Ana. It's not really in the meta right now, but
honestly, I'd like to see more Wu Yang again. I think it's a very dynamic hero. Have we seen any Wu Yang? Just a Wu Yang bang.
Like it hasn't been played today, honestly.
No, yeah,
like,
it's not at all. So, yeah, interesting. We'll see. We've seen a lot of Wu Yang from both of these teams. Maybe we're going to see some more in this series. Either way, one of the teams is going to win, the other one is going to lose. And we're going to find out who in just a little bit. So for that, we're going to send it back over to Necra and Jaws.
Dude, she's spitting facts. One team is going to lose and one team is going to win. I agree. And yeah, okay, so Jake eventually flip-flopped. He went GK. And I've got to be honest, it's pretty close. I think I would have gone either way, depending on what time I woke up this morning and how many coffees deep I was too, Rose, to be honest.
Yeah, I might just roll some dice and see where they land for this one, because it does feel like it could be either of these teams, just depending on the time of day or even just where we are in the patch. And so is that something that might add a little bit of upset here? Not having Wu Young as powerful as in the hands of Ultraviolet. Does he even play it?
100%. That's the big thing, right? Is like, is Wu Yang actually going to be played? Like, he did receive a ton of nerfs, one being the HP nerf as well. 225 now, not 250. Like, that is
pretty significant.
Yeah, it is significant. Like, a lot more squishy. He can be fairly slippery, kind of pun intended, with his when he rides the wave and kind of gets out of the way and like, you know, oh, I can wave and I can ult, and it's great, but like, you getting bursted is the key thing. Like, ideally, you're kind of bursting him before he ends up using any kind of CDs. So we'll see if Ultraviolet runs it. Geekay obviously banning Kiriko and a Winston ban for SSG. This is another ticket on the line here to the Stockholm World Finals. Spacestation Gaming and Geekay, last time they faced off, SSG took him all the way to a map number 5 and stole it away from Geekay, who up until the last couple of weeks, Rose, of regular season, had a perfect record.
They did, and it's like they've kind of fumbled over that finish line in the final moments, and that's not something you want to see from one of these top teams. So maybe this is a new weekend, new me. They have a couple tricks up their sleeve, and as we walk it back to Samoa, where we get to focus in on our first map of this rematch, we are going to see very similar compositions to what we saw them run just that last weekend. Kumpa's gonna come out on the Ramatra. Winston wasn't even banned in that series, and he decided to play this hero just because he thought it would have a better matchup into this Hog Zarya that he also played. So there really aren't that many differences here, except Ultraviolet's not on the Wu Young, he's on the Baptiste. Really still wants to be able to do that damage, but the immortality field feels so key here without that Kiriko.
Whew. Well, doing damage, don't worry. Take a seat, it's my turn. Lethal ends up clearing up too. Don't need to do damage UV, just cap the point, yeah? I think this Baptiste pick is awesome. Not great, obviously, with the grab. Like, you can throw it out. Hopefully, you survive for like a fraction of a second sooner. But just being able to shoot Hawk and shoot people that approach, even put pressure on Sugar Free and Chronic as well, more consistently, I'd say, sometimes than the Wu Yang. Just obviously hit scan versus the projectiles with the orbs. Really nice. The explosive potential, though, of Space Station Gaming cannot be understated. Bubbling Sugar Free in, whether that's the Tidal Blast or the Zarya bubbles to gain space. We'll see how they end up handling this. Obviously, GK have already got this first cap. Fighting into this is tough as well. The poke's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, my one also has a pulse bomb that you could throw into this, and Lethal did so much damage in that last fight that you already have high noon up basically as well. So consider GK with both of those DPS ultimates. If you're Space Station, you've got to be wary of where that Cassidy is and where he's actually going to let that rip. It could just completely zone the team from Space Station to be funneled right into a pulse bomb.
Well, they tried to flip the map here for Space Station. Look at how low they are. Double headshot as well from Lethal. Another one. He's waiting for it. Oh. Wasn't a headshot onto Hawk, but it's a one for CJ. That's rather unfortunate for Space Station. They basically have to now win the fight instantly or back off. They're at 65% already. And Rose, there's not really been a fight.
No, they've just been a huge waiting game because on the flip side, Space Station doesn't want to take too much damage, or they've got to heal that off before they move in. But then GK have so much time to just get a pick. And so that's what happened with CJ. He comes back now, but it's kind of like you're almost out of time here.
Hawk's already dead as well. This is a disaster for Space Station. They're falling out of orbit like ASAP. Like, GK have now put down a window on high ground. Ultraviolet dodges out the way, takes the 1v1. My moment ends up finding the last little bullet there, and wow, Space Station, they're getting deleted. Tidal Blast on Sugar Free, Lamp ends up coming in, there's a knockdown, a pulse bomb, and Sugar Free dies to his own pulse. Oh my god. There's no... From bad to worse to even worse, I mean, that is a round of Overwatch of all time.
Oh, that was painful. I just... Like, where was the action? Where were the team fights? Where were the kills? Spacestation weren't able to do anything in that last round. It was 100-0. Geekay had full control. Great off angles from Lethal. Nobody died. Nobody on Geekay even died.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Like-
Quick mental reset here for Spacestation, all good. They did end up winning that Samoa, the opener in their series against GK a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think you still have to give them credit for being able to do that, but there are some key differences between these compositions. This time around, Maimon is just gonna play the Tracer. Last time, it was a Symmetra pick from Maimon. That really didn't work out. I think they got a little too fancy with the whole, you know, Symmetra, Ramatra combo, try to do a little bit of EMEA action here over in NA, and it just didn't work. Now, though, like, they're really back in full form. Maimon is putting in the numbers here on the Tracer. This is making it really tough for Spacestation to step forward.
LeBron down. How will the Lakers win now? I don't know. Spacestation Gaming have to back off. Sugar Free instantly killed. Like, the poke is crazy, and surviving the dive is pretty easy as the BAP too. Having the shift of being able to fight back at the same time against the Tracer is really nice. Like, your damage output is just insane. Hawk's going to be a decent charge, kind of constantly because of Cuffer as well, just kind of the raw spam. Sugar Free in the backline again, but has to play him with a kind of perimeter around Lethal, who can just flashbang him as well. It's tough for Lenny to get anything done.
He's actually going after Maimon right now on the Tracer. Lep is going to be there to help follow up that damage, so there is one big player out of the equation, but GK still have things that they can invest in this fight, like the amplification matrix. Now
they can window
play here for Spacestation.
Also, has Sugar Free here, has the recall pretty early on, though. Lethal still taking a whole heap of damage. Looks like Spacestation might be able to get the cap, but there's a quick step on the point there from Cover to make sure that doesn't happen. Stick on the ram, no Nemesis 4 means one dead robot on the points. All right, a triple. There is the control of Spacestation. Well, after Hawk does end up going down. Losing energy is tough, but honestly, you take that any day of the week if it's time on the point.
And the fact that the flip came through at 55% this time around, like Spacestation actually can try to string something together. They've got double support ultimates here. Admiral's trailing just a little bit behind on that sound barrier, so there is a possibility for Spacestation to just kind of go in early. They gotta wait out this high noon first, but then go ahead and go in with that sound barrier. Oh my goodness, Sugar Free, you're playing with fire there.
Well, not anymore. He's got a giant bubble around him. Just extinguishing the backline of GK. Lethal already dead to Chronic, and okay, good start for Spacestation. And jumping on them early is really nice. Waiting out the high noon. You end up bubbling Sugar Free there, so he can stay on the point a little bit longer. No one wants to shoot the bubble, and there's a skull on Sugar Free's head, but he knows he's safe as long as he's there, not getting shot at, and as that bubble's on him. So really nice stall out from Spacestation, and they've even saved Grab.
Yeah, they saved Grab, they saved sound barrier. I think that's really big. So now you do have that defensive ultimate to deal with something like the Annihilation that Kuffa has also worked up to. When you're matching that percentage, you know that one more team fight here could solidify the round and bring us into a round 3. There's the Grab.
Grab hits 2, there's the sound barrier. Lip trying to go for a better one here as Cuffer gets jumped on. That lamp already been used. Cuffer means, yeah, he's going to have to pop the Annihilation to try and stay alive. But look at the focus fight here from Spacestation Gaming. CJ is pretty low, but they trade for cover, or maybe even not. I mean, eventually CJ goes down. Same with Lip, so now the backline dead. Pulse bomb on the ground. Maimon actually ends up killing Hawk. Attached the stick to the bubble. There's a stick from Sugar Free, but a roll away there from the Cassidy. Doesn't matter, because Sugar Free is here to stay. Spacestation Gaming, they do still control the point here. Maimon coming up with some heroics at the very end of that fight. They're able to keep themselves competitive, but a really quick re-engage here from Lep and Chronic are going to keep this point alive for SSG.
Yeah, and Maimon just has to back off because he knows if he dies there, this fight is probably over, and as is this map. But they get to come back in with the Amplification Matrix, and Ultraviolet is hunting for this off angle to try to get one of these DPS down.
Yeah, Chronic's already pretty low, so has to back up. There's another touch there from Sugar Free. They got 99, and OT is ticking, but they let GK have the point, at least for now. Tidal Blast, that's the next, that's the aim of the game here, I'd imagine, but with Lethal already dead, Hawk taking a nice little off angle with almost 100 energy is going to be awful for GK to kind of fight into now. Cuffer's already also used this Nemesis form, like, they're in bad state, they're in bad shape, like, Ultraviolet cannot heal you quick enough, as Hawk is just running just literal rings, like they're just circling GK who want to stick on the points. Tidal Blast used, Ultraviolet already dead, and the overtime has been triggered. Spacestation Gaming take us to a round 3.
While that first round was very decisively GK's point to win, Spacestation made GK really work for even just that 55% that they got. And once the point flipped over, Spacestation, firm grasp. They really started to come alive, and I think a lot of that maybe was just like a, oh wow, round one wake-up call. We really need to get our act together so we do not just get absolutely obliterated like that. Because that first round, like, it did feel, I felt like secondhand embarrassment watching that, you know? It was just really hard when you know that that team is so much better than that one round performance, and they equalized this series already by being able to get this round win. I think the Zarya, the Tracer really playing a lot better in tandem together, and I think that now that they've found their footing and they've felt out kind of the pace of the series, this third round, while it will be decisive for the map, will also really help set the tone for the rest of the series too. So gonna be the same compositions from both teams as we go into each.
Yeah, it's a very nice map though for GK's comp, to be fair. Being static on this map is really nice. The point is below you, you can have Ultraviolet and Lethal set up on high ground. You can't like run them down because Cuffer's there. Like, this is a good point for GK. Cuffer has to cap though, and it does end up coming through. We'll see if Hawk finds an opening here to get across high ground. Ends up just shooting Cuffer in the back. He's going to suffice for that for the time being. Yeah, just having to use bubbles to stay up at this high ground. He's not getting healed right now either, just relying on that passive healing to keep himself up. As we see Sugarfree trying to take an off angle, but it's Hawk that comes up with the first kill. Okay, now Ultraviolet under a little bit of duress. Sugarfree takes a few too many rifle shots there, and it looks like Ultraviolet will be able to survive too, with kills on left and CJ coming to fruition for GK. Cuffer is one though.
Yeah.
No, Hawk's going to weave that one around. Okay.
Well, I mean, at this point, after you killed the supports on GK, like, this should be a Spacestation fight win, and it ends up being that. Ultraviolet Admiral spent a lot of the latter parts of that fight so low. You use the Immortality Field there, hope that that's going to be enough to actually keep you alive, but there is so much pressure from Chronic and Sugarfree, and this is really where, like, yeah, Sugarfree is dominating. He's actually going to even force Ultraviolet to probably have to use the Immortality Field there before he backs off, but he's got a full spot to throw with this.
Oh yeah, that whole time Ultraviolet was distracted by Sugarfree. He used that regenerative burst, the shift, to keep himself up, but on the other side of the point there, well, Lethal just dies, so reset here for GK.
And now hopefully they can use this amplification matrix, get some space with it, maybe even pick up a kill, but look at high mode too.
Oh, he's getting booped around though, Sugarfree. They ain't got any knockdowns there at all. Nice boop, then Ultraviolet too, using the Exo boost to get into the sky to avoid that Tidal Blast knockdown. Hawk now just sitting on the sidelines, trying to spot out actually where Cuffer's gone. Nemesis form popped, very low. Well, Annihilation in a couple of seconds. As my moan goes for a Hail Mary pulse bomb, but it's a swing and a miss.
And now this is where things are going to get really dicey because Hawk has earned the grab. So if it wasn't going to be a fight win now, it definitely is after Hawk plants this.
Yeah, a nice connection. I mean, you pop window there for UV, thinking you can sustain yourself during that fight and maybe turn it, but you just yeet the grab onto the window because you know people are going to be there, and it's just such an easy follow-up, despite the lamp being used too. Like, lamp's really just a non-factor with the amount of people just shooting at it.
Yeah, it's like what, delays you a second, and then you still get the follow-up into the grab, and now with final push, it's going to be a sound barrier from both teams.
Yeah, both sides are going to use sound barrier there as Chronic ends up sending the bolus in. It does end up getting a connection, but it's Ultraviolet that come up with the goods. Sugarfree at least finds one, but Spacestation Gaming still control. Eventually there's going to be a flip, but still the fight is happening on the wrong side of the map here for GK. Forced to kind of push themselves onto the point now as Cuffer to try and kind of sustain himself in this fight, but also keep hold of this point. CJ goes down, a quick flip for Spacestation Gaming, who've forced GK's hand time and time again. There should be maybe a touch. No, not quite. Doesn't look like Mimo wanted to go for it, but now Hawk under a little bit of trouble. Ends up getting escorted away by Lep, who's using that speed to get away, but Hawk eventually carved apart as Cuffer with the Nemesis form is going to be able to pick up a couple of kills there. Ooh, nice connection in the skies too, finishing off Chronic, but again, not full completion, not a full time on the point there, Rose, either, because Space Station found the flip halfway through the fight.
Yeah, they did, but I think this is really, like, it was very important for GK to, like, finally take out Hawk. You saw how long he was sitting at 90 energy, and even with the extra bubble onto Lep, you got up to 100. If you don't kill him there, Hawk is going to beam down your entire team. But now we're into last fight territory, where Space Station, they only have this pulse bomb. And now I kind of wonder whether or not extending that fight for as long as it was a hit and a miss. You gave over over so much ultimate charge to GK. They've got 3 ults to throw at this fight. Ultraviolet's gonna have the amplification matrix up soon as well, so it might just be an overwhelming amount of pressure. Spacestation, if they can extend this long enough, they get to match some of those ultimates, but for now, it is just that pulse bomb and trying to set up Sugar Free to get a slam dunk.
Yeah, Hawk really wants this ult as well. Sugar Free already forced a recall. Pulse Bomb used, 4 ults for GK. CJ has got the Tidal Blast, but they need to be able to survive. Sugar Free's gonna give him that ultimate, but CJ ends up using the Tidal Blast, but Wujax is completely, that ultimate gone by the wayside, as GK now just ult up for the final fight. The Wujax of the century. As maybe that was something they could use to kill Ultraviolet or Admiral, but it is not to be. GK with a round win, making it 2. Samoa is theirs.
Wow, that third round, though, was so back and forth, and that made me really excited for what this rest of the series is going to hold. So I think, Jack, I'm crossing my fingers so hard that we get 5 maps out of this one. But GK being able to close it out the way that they did, it was just smart macro recognition of what they needed to have in terms of ultimates at the very end there. And then just really great target focus. The fact that we didn't even get a chance to see that Tidal Blast hit was a devastating finish to that map if you don't have that ultimate. Because I do wonder with you, like, what happens if you are able to apply that to Hawk or to Sugar Free? Does that actually get you that pick that you needed in the back line?
Yeah, they were under so much pressure too. They were kind of hanging around like by the bottom surfboard in the bottom part of the map. Sugar Free was behind the surfboard.
He was so low.
Well, CJ was hitting him up with a right click, and then it's like, okay, I've got ult, and then everybody from GK kind of pounced, and yeah, in an OT rush situation like that, he ended up going for it, and he Wujax, and that ultimate out of there, which means your chances of surviving, especially when GK can ult dump with 3 ults, 4 ults even. Yeah, it's cut pretty short. Pretty nice comeback round though for Spacestation on second, it must be said, because look, the first round might have not, it didn't exist basically.
No.
There were no kills for Spacestation at all, but I'm with you as well, Rose. I do want this to go to map at least number 4. We've had a lot of 3-0s today. I know a lot of you probably have your spectrophotometry homework to do, but look, we're going to at least have 4 maps here, surely. Let's have a look where Spacestation send us for this next one as GK start off strong.
Yeah, weird territory, because the last time that these two teams faced off against each other, which was super, super recent, it was GK that lost Samoa, and then they got to pick the next map where they picked to go to Gibraltar. But come on now, Space Station aren't gonna let them have that. I feel like it has to be an escort for Space Station. They get to take us away from Gibraltar. That home field advantage GK might want to give over to Kappa to play something like the Winston. And that can't be banned out anymore. So, like, I think your best bet is to pick an escort. Make sure that GK cannot pick Gibraltar later.
Yeah, I think that's a smart pick. Yeah, just you have got the Diva in your back pocket, but I think for the time being, like, Hawk looks so good on the Zarya. Any map where you can just play Zarya perma is gonna be better for them, and stats don't lie as well. There's a lot of win rate. There's a high win rate, sorry, 100% for GK on the escort map. So we'll see where Space Station want to take us. They did win Suravasa and New Queen Street to round out the series in that map 5 versus GK a couple of weeks ago. And it is worth noting as well, they lost steam, that being GK. Map number 4, map number 5, it really was like a slow crawl to the finish for them, and they didn't even make it over the line. It felt like Space Station, the later the series went on, the more powerful they got. So we'll see if that's the same case here as we just wait now until Space Station choose a map.
I mean, hey, I kind of already felt that way with how even just Samoa played out. Space Station needed that first round to get their bearings, and then they were able to make that second point theirs, and then that third one really, really close. But if you're watching OWCS and you're inspired to go play on your own team, then go check out FACEIT Season 7, because that is starting up. Make sure that you can play, get some rewards. I mean, it's some good competition over there. And also, Jack, I know we talked about it a lot in terms of like it's fun. It is really fun right now.
The meta's great. That's all I want to say. The team plays great. You don't have to look, as a support player, you don't have to perma pocket your Malga and then just watch him shoot other Malgas in the face. It is dive, it is a little bit of rush, it's a little bit of everything. So yeah, make sure you go check that out. FCE.gg/FACEIT League. And Rose? maybe we'll make a team soon. As we look at the
Right,
map they're going to pick, though, and it's going to be Rialto. So, Rose, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Rialto makes the most sense, too, I think, because, like you said, watch point, you don't want to face GK if they pick it and then they get to play Winston, Ball, whatever. Junkertown's a bit of a weird one where you can play a lot of the dive on the first point and it just gets a bit dicey later. Rialto makes more sense for SSG would like to play. We'll see what they end up banning, though. We'll see if they end up targeting Cuffer again.
Yeah, I think to the Junkertown point too, I just don't think you want to give lethal like hit scan sight lines, and you still give over a little bit on Rialto, but I think you can very easily match that. Like Chronic can also play the Freya here if you're expecting lethal to do that. And with these bans that are coming through, okay, Spacestation ban the Ana, and we do see this Diva get banned out. So GK kind of forcing Spacestation's hand. They really want to force Hawk onto the Zarya, and they think they're going to have a good matchup into it.
Yeah, we'll see. See what kind of comps they've cooked up as well. I did speak to Cuffer just before the broadcast as well, just to ask him, like, you know, did you look back at anything, like anything too crazy that you were unhappy with, or what you've improved on going into this series? Because this is a kind of a big rematch for you. You were undefeated over the last 4 weeks, and then the last couple of weeks you end up losing to SSG and Team Liquid. He didn't really say too much, classically, obviously being match day, but he was like, there are maybe some different compositions that you might see. So I'm curious if they've got anything cooked up. This is a ticket to Stockholm on the line. You don't have to fight through the lower bracket if you win here to guarantee yourself a place. So you want to win here and now. You don't want to leave it up to chance, leave it up to anything crazy down in lowers.
Yeah, I mean, Spacestation felt that when you said that. And I think that's also something where, like, for Spacestation, they really want to make sure that they can secure the spot now. They do not want to leave that up to chance. GK, if they drop down into the lower bracket, I think a lot of people are confident that they'll be able to make it out. But similarly to your point where they lost these final 2 maps of their stage, then maybe you don't want to leave it up to chance there either, because who knows what's going to happen. The Desk called it out. Nightmare might be able to get that upset. And if there's a time for Nightmare to punch up, it's now when some of these top teams might be feeling a little down on themselves. But for now, GK are up 1 map in this series. Spacestation pick Rialto, and let's see if they can actually get the upset here for Escort.
It's funny because when they went to the Escort, the Watch Point Gibraltar in that series, the same bands. It was the Diva and it was the Ana, which is kind of funny. But Escort kind of tends to allow plays like Ana, like Freya, any kind of long range hit scan, like you're able to play pretty easily. But GK, they cooking, and we're seeing a Life Weaver. Is that a mythic skin too? It is indeed, yeah. Admiral
Nice.
Okay, so a Life Weaver coming from GK. Something we've seen Admiral play in the past. We'll see if Spacestation have got the answers, but being able to play Life Weaver on the high ground and grip Cuffer, grip lethal, help my moan, like, it's nasty, Rose. Like, being able to lock someone down against that backline is tough for Spacestation. We'll see if they can get it done.
I mean, or you can even just, like, life grip the Kiriko so she can swift step somewhere else. Like, there's so many possibilities here. And so the Life Weaver is really funny. I think the pedal platform also gives you easier access to high ground that some of these other characters like Ramatra would have a much tougher time actually being able to access. So Geekay, like, on this defense, can Spacestation break it? They can also still go back to spawn and actually pick something else if they think it'll have a better matchup into something like their Life Weaver. But for now, they seem very content to run back a similar composition to what we saw in Samoa. Chronic gets deleted on the high ground, though. Maimon being able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, I think Maimon was on the opposite high ground there. You can see him kind of hanging around the little stairs. I think important to note too, the amount of healing Life Weaver does is a little insane. So like keeping Cuffer alive in the front line when he's just getting basically poked down by 5 people and hawked as high energy is pretty easy actually for the Weaver. And then again, you have that emergency tool, right? The grip, pull him out of there, and then you even got pedal platforms as well to put Cuffer on high ground. There's a lot Avril can do here. Nice connection on Sugar Free. Bro did not even see lethal. Like, okay, back to Stormy.
Yeah, then you saw the life grip too to bring Lethal back into the safety away from a Tracer blink in case that didn't actually pick up the kill. They're on it today. I mean, GK already like very flawless defense so far. Haven't given any breathing room for Spacestation to make anything happen. They're waiting for a rush. CJ's very close. That will help them to get around this first corner. But you've got to have the follow-up for what's to come because GK basically full slave of ultimates ready to go.
Yeah, this tree's going to be kind of nasty. Rush for rush, though, around this corner. Yep, okay, there's one, there's the second, okay. Now Hawk in the front line, taking a fair bit of damage. There's going to be a ball that's going to send downtown by Lethal. Didn't end up picking up a kill, but slowly but surely now, Spacestation trying to find another avenue into this fight. Mimo's going to make it a little bit more difficult, though, and Nasutu being used is good go time for him. He's got a post bomb, but they will dodge out of the way. And that's fine. Honestly, you just wait and you hope that Spacestation get a pick. Like, you just got to... at the moment, just got to make an aggressive play, but there's a tree from Admiral. Again, they're slowing things down, and Spacestation, they got a lot of ults, but not a lot of time.
I mean, the way that this cart is positioned, if it keeps rolling back like this, there might even be plenty of time to get a full recontested if GK lose here, as long as they don't give up any more progress. Hawk is so low, though, you gotta help him! Oh, he gets the grab
a little bit too late. Life grip, hello. Oh, took a bit of damage from that pulse bomb. Sugar Free at least connects, though. Admiral dead. GK on the back foot, although with Hawk going down, Cuppa being able to stay on the point should be fairly easy, but Sugar Free again comes up with another. Lethal dead, now trying to trace after Ultraviolet. Admiral will be back in a couple of moments there with a life grip, you've got to imagine, but a goalkeeper from WMI Moan helping out Ultraviolet, not going down to Sugar Free, but Chronic at least finds that final blow.
Yeah, Ultraviolet down is going to remove a pretty good source of healing here from GK, and it makes this recontest pretty difficult. But Cuppa still has this Annihilation that he can pop if he wants to delay some time, but he cannot get it off. He knows that this defense is dead, and unfortunately not able to get out that Graviton Surge. So for GK, they got to back up, and now they've got to be really careful. You don't have the Lucio anymore to deal with what is coming. So Spacestation Gaming, let's see how they set up with this grab ready to go and the rush.
Inside. I'm fine. Freeze me. You're already building me. Ram drop. I can try the rush in. Ram throwing. Ram throwing me. Ram low. Full of dodge. Trey behind. Ram still one. No point no lamp. Walk in. Look for grab. Let me build my ult. Break tunnel. Nice. Ram in the puddle. He's stuck on low. No shield. Shooting Ram. He built me main. Bap. Ram throwing. I see. No form. Trevian. Ram half. Up. We're low. Yeah, he does. Ram use. No. Oh, he has full. Yes. Are you ready? Yeah. Walk. I'm beating out. Everyone. Ram no form behind. Back behind. Bap Ram. Keep on cart. Bap. No drone top right. Here, right there. Yeah. Go. Alright, they have tree for point. Somebody come in and push their tree. Push the Weaver.
Gosh, Sugar Free is a menace right now on this Tracer. This should be a fairly trivial cap now, although it looks like Admiral wants to keep this fight going. Tree deployed, but unfortunately, the payload's been capped. That is a throw of an ultimate there from Admiral, sadly. You can hear it in those comms too. Spacestation saying, like, Cuppa is in a bad spot. He's throwing, like, he's actually half throwing. We just got to focus him, but there's always that lifeline of Admiral on the Weaver. Quick swap though, going over to Lucio instead. Get a bit more speed on the go for GK now. Yeah, I think it's just going to help make those rotations a little bit faster, and you just have to get out of spawn. Because you're at a point now where, like, Spacestation, they still have this grab. Oh, they end up actually killing Hawk, and a trade of bonuses there as Chronic and Lethal kill each other. Good. I mean, Cuppa's still on the point as Nemesis form in a couple. Just needs Spy, dodges Pulse Bomb, Nemesis form, there it is. There's a mini, but it's gone. So he's very vulnerable in this quarter. Sugar Free trying to shoot into him, and there you go. Okay, kill from CJ. A very late death here from Cuppa is not good. It's 4 players right now for GK defending as Hawk returns. Yeah, I mean, Spacestation's pace has been amazing. They just haven't let GK get a full reset yet, and look at how much progress it's netted. They got Baptiste on the outswing when you were capturing the second point, and now
You barely have Geekay free-spawning before you hit them with the
There's
rush.
nothing for Geekay. There's no rush here. A Nemesis Fall and Annihilation from cover has to get popped. But he's all alone in the back line. He ends up getting booped away, actually, for a brief second. Post Bomb connects with Hawk's shield, giving him a lot of free energies. That Annihilation eventually fades. Admiral takes a take-aim shot, but manages to get back to the team just in time to get healed up. And now looks like WMyMoan holding on to this flank. You cannot let Sugar Free get away with murder again. We're seeing Lethal jumping over to the Cassidy. Nice dink there onto Hawk, but it's not enough. There's the recall as well. Sugar Free was just landing on his head, and this fight's done and dusted, Rose, and this point push as well. There's a minute to go, and there's no bodies for Geekay to try and stall, and there's just too many ults for Spacestation. They're going to throw them all in. A minute and 6 seconds on the time bank as they complete Rialto.
That is a full cap. That is a very rare sight for us to see on a map like Rialto, because usually you would look at that final point and it's just so hard for the attacking team to push through the respawn advantage from the defenders, as well as that choke point that you have in that main archway. But Spacestation, when you've got that many ultimates, throw them all out there. You could taste that victory. You could taste that full map completion for them. What a fantastic performance on that first round as well. CJ, Lep, they did not die a single time in that entire map. Sugar Free was 15-1, like truly tearing up the server. And you have to figure out, if you're Geekay, like, how do you actually cover for that? Because you just kind of let Sugar Free wreak havoc in the backline. You didn't have any answer to him.
Yeah, bro is a farmer, like stats farmer, but like in the best way possible, in all honesty. Every single game Sugar Free is in, I swear he's one of the highest KDs. It has to be. I need to look at the stats or ask someone about that. But
Production has to have that, right?
He's got to be one of the highest KDs in OWCS and NA. Like, really low deaths every game, really higher limbs, like insane stuff. Let's see what Geekay do on their attack. Winston for cover, Lethal, maybe Sojourn. So no more Lifeweaver, no more shenanigans. Much better on the defense, of course. So not shocked to see Kiri Lucio here.
Now, it'll just be better to help enable this Winston, but you can already see, like, Sugar Free happy to use all of those blinks to get in with a Zarya bubble, give Hawk some charge so that Hawk can start spamming from downtown, from the high ground. Backs up a little because the Winston's able to close the distance with these jumps, but they're making slow progress. And Geekay at this point, they're hoping that, like, Lethal can actually get some time here, some damage, build up to a charged railgun shot, and just nuke somebody. Bubble's gonna help a lot with that to allow Lethal to step up to the plate, but it's still tough when you've got this Zarya just beaming down some pressure. So as quickly as that high ground got taken by Geekay, it's gone. And so Spacestation have really great control of this for now, but it's still a waiting game. Can Lethal get enough charge, snipe somebody out with the the charged railgun shot, and then open things for Geekay once their mobility cooldowns are back?
Okay, they're going to try and jump past Hawk there, and they've done that very successfully. Bisected the team. There's a left dice to cover. Okay, now Lethal's going to have a bit of an easier time. It's a kind of a horrible angle on that first corner to fight, especially if the enemy has high ground. Forcing Hawk down to low, and then eventually, obviously, making that dive into the choke. They're going to make this point one fight, but they're happy with that. Once again, Sugar Free goes in with a bubble, triple blinks to the backline, tries to find a one clip, but it's in the end, like you mentioned, free energy for Hawk. And it's going to be a rush for rush fight. As CJ's got one online, but it's just going to basically wait. You just wait right now until Ultraviolet uses his, then you use yours, and that's exactly what has happened. Almost on the same frame, in fact. There's a Cupper on the point getting a lot of value. There's the pulse bomb connection there onto Led. Chronic is extremely low as MyMo, just a rule of the bridge. That sound barrier from Admiral is going to see them through this as well. Led 30% behind of his own sound barrier, so Spacestation had no response, no retort for Geekay there.
Oh, I mean, especially after you picked up Chronic there as well. I mean, I think it was so free and clear for Geekay to just expend that sound barrier. The only thing I think it would realistically save it for would be the graph, but maybe that's something that Geekay was kind of okay just following through regardless, or they think that maybe they have a good enough response to it because they have such mobility on their team that even one person getting caught in the grab is not a huge issue. But let's find out, because Hawk is ready to go with this ult, and he's looking at cover right now as a prime target to just kind of get him caught up on a wall so that the rest of the team can shoot him.
Too much energy, though. Be nice to get a grab here, but the UV ends up dying. Hawk just walked forward and Chronic with a snipe. On the Sojourn now. That's a free kill, and that's free high ground. GK have to back off. And it's kind of sad too, like, with the Winston, you can't stick around at all. Like, you want to hold this space on high ground, but it's basically a wall of meat with 2 shields, so it's going to be kind of tough to do that.
Once the bubble goes down, it is just Winston's as big old battery. But we've got the holy disruptor shot.
Nice grab. Postal on the ground. Oh, that's a double for Sugar Free. Should have been a triple, but Hawk sent a right click in there as well. Good grab from Hawk. High ground control, Yeet at the back line, catches the Kiri, catches one other person. It's all chill. Looks like Sugar Free is actually going to swap. Rebirth. Okay, yeah. Honestly, even better. Point.
I mean, anti-Winston, that's really what it's going to be there for. Also just allows you to have point presence and take these close quarter engagements with the Winston. It really denies him from being able to get that high ground. But as we say that, sure, the full clip from Maimon, and now I think Geekay capped.
Oh, sound barrier from Lep. They would have re-engaged. Spork is so low, took 2 overclock headshots before the fight was even over. And yeah, that sound barrier from Lep. Not too good, and now it's going to be again a rush for rush fight. Ultraviolet kind of refusing to use this one though. Okay, actually they're baiting Spacestation, using their rush, and then they'll come back with their own.
Good recognition from Ultraviolet though, because Kuffa was so low, he had just finished using Primal, so there wasn't any extra sustain that Kuffa could get beyond just burst healing. And so I think, hey, yeah, exactly. Save it for the next fight. You can use it for this final corner, and the only thing you're going to have to really deal with here is going to be this overclock from Chronic, but you can play around the walls for this. Oh no, you can't!
Well, you still got the rush down. It wasn't a rush jack, so you can still use it, but you're down to Kiriko, so yeah.
No, they just back off.
Gone, and there's a minute and 50 to go. And again, all that space now reclaimed by Spacestation.
There's still hope here, though, because GK are going to have the sound barrier. The positive of them using it so early on the end of that first point is that they do have it again to try to close out this second. But with only a minute and a half left, this is kind of like the time. And yeah, Kuffa dying here is just another reset. GK are starting to really run out of time here. Look at how far back Spacestation are pushing them to the spawn doors.
It's just such a nice pick, this Reaper. You can see Kuffa jumping high ground, popping the bubble on the side, but everybody is playing on the corner, and then Sugar Free just clicks him in the head twice and he dies.
It comes out with a sound barrier.
Beats on top of the boxes, hits 5, and now the pursuit can continue. Sugar Free with the TP away, and he's been spotted out, but Lethal actually is going to be the one that goes down first. CJ with 2, in fact. They end up trading there. Both CPS dead for GK, who had holds. It's all on Kuffa now to really realistically do the majority of damage, but Hawk ends up going down. A nice place bubble there, forces CJ to try and find an alternate angle to try and heal the Zarya. And don't need DPS, not in these streets at least. Kuffa, UV, and Admiral getting the job done. With 2 minutes in the time bank though, Rose. They're definitely going to finish with less than Spacestation did.
If they finish at all, I think that's where I'm starting to have some worries. This GK have double DPS ultimates, and they do have the rush, but what if Spacestation just kind of stopped them here with the sound barrier? It's a fantastic response to the overclock.
Yep, this ends now. And that's it, that's the push, done. And they trade rush for rush again. Sue's used pretty early. There's the grab in the back line too, just catching Admiral straight up. Yeah, trading for CJ though, and Hawk is so low. Good chase down there from Ultraviolet. Ends up landing a couple of kunai headshots, and now it's up to Maimon. I mean, as the fight breaks down, these traces really do thrive, and they feast on anybody that's caught out of position. Minute in 20 seconds, Primal and Pulse in the back pockets of GK.
So ways that they can try to finish this fight with either using the Primal Rage, kind of bounce people back into spawn, or use this Pulse Bomb to get a pick and try to help out with some of this respawn advantage, but that's a big start.
Picturesque bubble there from Kuffa. No healing, no bubbles, no nothing for Hawk. This Primal Rage doing a lot of work in the front line though, but Sugar Free on top of the payload with this Death Blossom. Kill on Chronic's already good though, but Sugar Free pops out of nowhere, and that's the backline dead. This damage all but permanent now for GK. A Pulse Bomb connects to the shield, dropped though onto the ground. Kuffa in the front line, no Primal Rage, and he's got to deal with Hawk, and he's pissed on this point. He hasn't got healing, but does need it. It's got all the damage he requires. So CP through the wall from CJ to heal Hawk back up. 30 seconds to go as Sugar Free once again comes in clutch for SSG.
Now it's panic time. GK, they only have a couple meters left to go, but they don't have much time to do it. Cup is going to go back over to the Ramatra, hoping that this is going to be a nice answer to the Reaper, as well as just give them a bit more point presence that the Winston is not going to be able to provide you in these final moments. Overclock here could be really good here for Lethal, and you're hoping that there's enough time for Admiral to be able to get this sound barrier, and one down is good.
Yeah, Sugar Free already gone down, and Cover's on the point now. It's forced the Suzu and the TP. Admiral healing up on the point, just needs the sound barrier, and he's playing safe behind the box. And Lethal jumping to the skies with this OC, burns through the bubble of Hawk. And as the Zarya bites the dust, so does the rest of the team. Space Station launched into orbit as GK finish the map. With a minute in the time bank left, Space Station doubling that one up with 2 and 6 seconds. What a finish there at the very end, just catching Sugar Free, who again has been kind of the main carry for SSG in this map. A perfect pick from Lethal. And, well, the rest of the team did everything else required.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at the stats here, jeez. There's just so much damage traded on both sides, but it's just been kind of lights out from Space Station, whether it was on that attack or that defense. GK really struggled when that Reaper pick got brought out from Sugar Free. Just such a great response to that Winston. Just like no bubbles there for Kappa. Kappa had a lot of trouble even just staying alive. And so it's kind of tough to have to be the first ones up to an attack. You know that this Reaper pick is a possibility, so do you even lean into the Winston now, knowing that, like, yeah, like the Reaper pick could just come out with Sugar Free coming back out if he dies the first time?
Yeah, I think that's, a good point. I think if that does end up happening and GK win this first fight, I think Sugar Free is just going to interswap and go Reaper to then contest under the bridge. It's just way more valuable there than the Tracer. Tracer could be good again, kind of finding flanks, but whenever he's fighting over, that's a very enclosed point. The Reaper makes a lot more sense. And you see Cuffer kind of waiting, now going back. Okay, he's going to change to Winston. There it is. Okay, they know Sugar Free is not on Reaper right now, so a Winston pick it is to control this height.
Did you see that? Though it was like saw the hero first to see if they could get any sort of information about what Space Station were running, and then just the confirmation. Okay, let's go in with the Winston. It worked out for us. If anything, it's going to make Sugar Free swap. And for this first point, as well as that first part of second, there isn't really a whole lot of space where the Reaper can hide. So GK now, they just got to capitalize on this. But Mimo going down is devastating. They might not get any more progress than this if anybody else dies here.
Yeah, because how slow it is to take the high ground and force the Space Station down to lower. I mean, they're going to get a touch, that's for certain, but it's going to be a scrappy one. My mom was on the flank the whole time. You saw Sugar Free kind of chasing after him. Ultraviolet looking, scouting, searching. Okay,
no, they were on they didn't touch. They didn't touch the cart.
C9.
Jack.
That is a certified C9. Oh my GK. You had touch. You were on low ground, bro. You were on the meat. The payload is right there.
I don't care. There's a disruptor shot. Just walk into it. Oh, they had no idea that they weren't actually touching the payload there. That has to be it. Because Kuffa was dancing there with a disruptor shot on the payload. Maybe you're taking a little bit of damage, but... Oh, come on. Not my playoffs bracket, bro. Oh.
My... Grass-fed, FDA-approved, certified C9 on Rialto.
Why is it Rialto? Jack, why is it always Rialto with this NA teams?
And GK, okay, a heartbreaker. And now they have to hold on this kind of ugly spot, right?
Oh, this is horrendous.
You can jiggle the corner here, but Mimone can't play Tracer now. Has to play the Mei to try and get some point presence. And I like this too for Space Station because you can basically send Sugar Free on a flank around the backline and Lethal and Mimone have to try and fend him off. Like, disaster for GK. I mean, 2 minutes to it though for Spacestation.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like that's not even just the place where the payload ended. It's the fact that Spacestation had 2 minutes. And so I was gonna say almost like stay on double pick heroes. You could go Freya, Hanzo, Widowmaker, doesn't really matter. One of those picks is gonna get you the point. But I respect Spacestation just kind of locking into a very normal team composition, knowing that the fundamentals with 2 minutes, you're getting ultimates. You're gonna finish this.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, and they've already been blocked as well. Ooh.
They just
My man has to
win,
wall
right?
after this. Well, I mean, Hawk's very high charge. They still have this barrier, and you're basically cycling this barrier with the wall with the block. Like, you're rotating those cooldowns on the point, on the corner, but now Spacestation can just go high ground and then shoot from high ground. Hawk's high energy. Good little boost, though. That's actually going to put Hawk in a nicer spot to beam down the front line, but they're probably going to want to try to do that again, but it looks like they're just happy to fight on the point. There's a Nemesis form already used by Cutler too, and he's so low. He needs heals. Where's the barrier? There's nothing there, and they don't touch. I mean, they were forced away anyway, but this, what a disaster of extra rounds there from GK. Spacestation take it. We're at minimum going to a map number 4 here as they tie the series up.
I know you wanted a map 4, but is this the way that you wanted it, Jack?
Yeah.
Well,
This is
what?
good content. This is good
It was
content, yeah.
C9s? Oh no. Like,
Disastrous.
honestly.
Sugar Free 27-7, Chronic 24-7. Versus their counterparts, look at that. Lethal 23-6. Imo not doing quite as well. Obviously, it was Spacestation that took them here, and that big dive map, that scary one that GK could pull out, that watch point Gibraltar is off the cards now.
I'm just so sad that they just, I'm just so sad. I think realistically looking at the stats and looking at how well Spacestation did the attack and defense, I still see this as having finished as a Spacestation win. GK really just said, no, you can have this one. look at this is
a mental
C9.
breaker.
Look, see the structure shot there. Look, Cutler gets so close, but then doesn't realize, I think, that the Tesla cannon is not close enough to the cart, or the hitbox of Winston isn't actually helping to contest. And I think now every team's gonna go to Rialto and actually just place players.
Make sure they know where the edge of the payload
where
is.
they have to be in order to actually get the contest in, because this is twice now we have seen some pretty egregious C9s on this map. I am now
It's a big
rich.
mental breaker for GK.
It's just sad.
Keeping yourself and your head in the game is important, but yeah, losing a map like that is not on the cards ever, right? SSG end up sneaking this one away, and they had the better time bank as well. It was 2 minutes and 6 seconds versus the single minute, so you could argue, Spacestation would have won this anyway, but in OT, especially in Rialto, capping the first point, even with 2 minutes, is pretty good considering how slow that it takes to actually get past that first corner. We'll see where GK want to go next. They're going to want to opt for more dive-heavy maps, maps they can play cover on ball, on Winston, etc. But SSG have removed that escort from the pool, and they look good, and they continue to perform kind of above a lot of people's maybe expectations. Everybody thought GK was going to run away with the stage, and hey, they're going to be undefeated. They look great, but SSG, Sugar Free, Chronic, they look good. This meta not really changed that much. Wu Yang got a nerf, but it's okay, well, we can still play Kiri Lucio. We can play Ana if we really want to. So, yeah, both teams very evenly matched, but no more C9s.
Please.
Even if it's just for Rose's sake.
I get a gray hair every single time I see a C9. And
A grey
that's
hair? You're going to be fully grey by the end of this day.
Well, that's why I dye my hair, bro. The secrets come out. No, but we just gotta move on, and I think that's exactly where GK are right now. You have to take that one on the chin, know that you still have the rest of the series to play out, and we are going to King's Row for the next map. I think this is a really smart choice but I also could see this as a really bad choice. If you don't ban out the Zarya here, I think Hawk is going to have an absolute field day, especially after the way that Spacestation won that map. They're Vibes team. They're going to take that and they're going to run with it. And so I think if you're GK, you pick King's Row, but you ban out the Zarya. You cannot let Hawk have that pick, especially on Streets phase. Like, Zarya is just going to run you down.
That's exactly what they did last time. Map number 3 was King's Row. It was GK's pick. Sorry, it was SSG's pick, and then GK ended up banning the Zarya. I believe what happened in that series too was SSG deferred the ban to GK, if I remember correctly, and then GK ended up banning Zarya. So that's definitely what's going to happen again. This time, obviously, GK get the first ban anyway because it's their map choice, and then it was a Wu Yang ban actually from SSG. So we'll see if the same thing is going to play out here. I'd imagine so, although in all honesty, not banning out the Wu Yang and targeting something else might also be the play, because I don't know how much we're going to see like permanent Wu Yang, because you know, UV is like, okay, we'll just play like BAP, we'll play like other things. It's not now like, or at least on GK's side of things, not like a perma pick.
I wonder if you actually considered banning out Tracer. But it's tough because it hurts your own team in terms of like Sugar Free not being able to play it. But I think the Baptiste is a great choice as well. To your point about like Ultraviolet not playing Wu Yang permanently anymore, Ultraviolet already showed off the Baptiste on Samoa, and so get it out of there. You don't want to give him too many heroes that require like a significant amount of mechanical skill,
or like any kind of attention from SSG. I think this makes a lot of sense, and this is actually the first time BAP's been banned in stage 3.
We haven't seen it at all.
Too surprising, yeah, exactly, because we haven't really seen BAP, like maybe a little bit, but not to the point where people are like, oh, we gotta ban him. So okay, we'll see if UV ends up pivoting here to the Wu Yang. Like, I think they'll be pretty happy with that, in all honesty. Zarya obviously was banned out. There's no shock there, but we'll see. We're gonna load into map number 3. SSG coming off of a high, and I can imagine those comms, I bet everybody was chuckling to themselves, giggling a little bit after that C9. Vibes high, I'd imagine. GK, maybe not so much, but firm heads in the game and cooler heads always prevail as we load into map number 3.
So Baptiste, I think like we've already kind of seen a lot of teams that have decided that they want to play the Wu Yang actually just decide to play the Ana instead. And so I love this pick. It can be answered by a Diva or a Kiriko. When you look at the anti-nades as something that is just so beneficial for the Ana to help enable the team, then you've got the defense matrix from the Diva to equalize that out, and then you also have the Suzu to be able to cleanse those antis. But as Spacestation gets set up on the defense, they also have Lep on the Juno. And now, Jack, what do you make of this? This is also a hero we have not seen basically at all in stage 3 because she's very squishy. And you usually want to have the Lucio instead for speed.
It's weird. I've actually seen a little bit more Junoing in rank queue as well recently, which is kind of funny. But yeah, like having the ring's really nice. Being able to get away from the Winston here is going to be what's most important. Orbital Ray is almost always going to be like a fight winner. But against comms that are very mobile, it can be a little bit more difficult to use because everybody can just scatter like ants, you know, into the anthill. So we'll see. It looks like Admiral's going to go on Brig. So kind of a El Clasico dive here from GK with UV on Ana. So no Wu Yang. Happy that Ana receiving that headshot buff, being powerful enough to actually play now.
That, and I think just in general, you're still able to help get the healing over to the Winston, but not if you're going to be stuck like that. Barely gets out of dodge, but that is just the power of the burst healing there. Lethal, though, getting taken out by Chronic Visa. There probably should be a reset, but GK already have point presence, and they were able to capture a third of the point already. But yeah,
I mean, you're kind of happy with that, honestly. Yeah, you spend a minute, you get 33%. That's kind of chilling. Wait, reset, classic dive.
They've got nanos.
Take damage, so we can get nano. Exactly. So you're just like looking for this. At this point, UV has got to be careful though. Hotel.
He's looking.
He's just like, well, that's not great, but here comes the Nano Winston. Oh, he's just punching Sugar Free to the head. Didn't even try to use the Tesla cannon. It's enough damage to force the recall on the Tracer, though. Nano boost, but Spacestation Gaming ended getting out of there, giving them 2 ticks, and then going for the re-engage. There is a bolus available from Chronic here, but the backline's going to be relatively hard to take down. Sugar Free close to this Pulse Bomb too. Pulse Bomb on the ground, but a good whip shot is going to take him out. Still, though, Pulse Bombs on both sides end up coming out with kills as that rush forces Cuffer away.
There's still a possibility of Spacestation just coming back in and trying to fight this. Even though they did lose a couple of members, they still have Hawk alive. And if he's able to get this brief back, I think that would be pretty big. But I think now, yeah, like the respawns come out here from Geekay, and Spacestation inevitably decide to give that up. I think if Hawk had the D.Va remake though, that is a very easy recontest for Spacestation, or at least to keep it going. But you did have a player disadvantage from that fight. But now, like, wow, look at how set up you are for Spacestation on this defense. This Ray's gonna go crazy.
I love this. Avril ends up backing off. That's a good bowler shot too. Chronic decimating the backline of Geekay. Wonderful stuff for the Orbital Ray. Fighting really early too, and Avril lost the rally in that fight. That's a good trade. Ray for rally. Always a +1 in my books. Avril now switching to Lucio instead. Knowing that this comp, even without a Lucio, pretty quick, like with the speed ring, looks like Lev's going to do the same thing. Go over to Lucio.
Yeah, I think like the fact that you already got a team fight win with the Orbital Ray is crazy. And now you've got a character that's going to give you a little bit more longevity and help you match the speed of that opposing Lucio now. I think if there wasn't a Lucio from Admiral, then like the Juno can still work, but you would much rather have that static baseline for these two teams, and you've got the sound barriers to match later on. You're not super off pace with getting that ultimate. But for GK, they've got the overclock. Spacestation are actually going to, back up here, but let's listen out. GK try to finish out the street space.
Yeah, then nothing. Actually, nothing.
I'm hiding fast.
Do you have care? No fence.
Walking, right?
I can look fine when you guys start walking.
What do they have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Very day. I'll use
Maybe
them.
press it. Give her sleep. I can nade 3, 2, 1. I nade backline.
Oh man.
Kill up here, purple.
Kill it, T. Did you fix the level?
Q1 to skill, Q1 to skill.
I got it.
Push. Q1.
Give it dice.
Killing Diva.
He's on. Walk back.
Walk in. All in.
Lean 2 cover.
Spray off. Spray left side.
Spray one down.
Help me right. Fuckers.
Look fine now.
Diva on top.
Low.
You wait once.
Yeah, I'm getting out. Are you good?
Yeah.
Spray on me. Spray off.
I got Juno. Oh, this one. Then nothing.
You can't kill Tracer, guys. She's like a lone ray.
Yeah, spray right.
Really easy to kill.
Yeah, looking right.
Jump spray right.
Headshot. He blinked out. He blinked out. Just left.
Diva on me.
She's coming, bitch.
Yeah.
Spray left side.
I'm flanking left
This is
side.
open for me. I'm taking that.
Yeah.
You walk him in. I'm all frame in.
Feed him 5.
Yeah. Go in.
Send me.
Good
point.
look.
Tyrion window. They're all about.
Trail.
Take him out.
Spray left side. Spray off left side.
Let me. Look at.
1 point. All look at me.
Oh, Lua couple.
Yeah. Really one.
Do that.
Let's be about. I'm dead.
Do it. I got back down.
Trail some.
Get up. Right top right.
They're still not really good.
Yeah, Kiri. Wait, action capture. Capture, Kiri.
Right one.
Careful.
Diva right.
I'm walking. Can we go left side? Go left side right now. Come.
Yeah,
I TP in 2. I TP in 2.
They're putting me
Oh,
behind us.
Balin.
Okay, it was some time ago at this point, but Hawk did not react to that double mech kill as well. I'm still like, come on, man, that was sick. Killed the backline with double remake kill. Come on, man. Looks sick, but it looks like Lethal decided, actually, you know what? It's summertime. But unfortunately, this rush should rule the day for Spacestation? Yes, there you go. Double kill for CJ. 25 seconds to go here for GK. A late swap roast onto the Sombra. A little bit desperation mode here for GK because the likelihood of you getting EMP is basically zero.
No, at this point, you're just hoping that it's going to be a hack to try to decrease the mobility or try to get rid of some of those cooldowns. But even then, I mean, like, Lethal actually just got killed before they even make it through to get back to the cart. Not good.
Oh, no, yeah, and Abra's going to go down as well. A couple of seconds to go, a couple of people on at the point right now, but I think this fight is pretty much done and dusted. Primal Rage is going to at least stall for some additional time here from Cuffer, but there's 5 people looking at one angry Winston, and he's quickly put down, and that is where the payload will end. Yes, that was a GK listen in there, I believe, so yeah, that's why they didn't react too hard. But Spacestation Gaming still end up holding GK. Only a single point on the board. And now King's Row. It always looks good for Spacestation, I must say. Obviously, the last time they played against GK did win it, but I mean, this looks a lot more clean, a lot more fluid from SSG. Very much, it feels like they've taken so much away from that last series, that last map 5. And this Baptiste ban too, it feels like it's hurt GK a fair amount. Look at UV, 1 in 7 currently, 2.2k damage. We're normally seeing him, especially on Wu Yang, near the top of the board with damage numbers, but not looking so hot on this one.
Well, you just don't have that same wave to be able to get out. I think that was one of the best parts of Wu Yang's kit, especially when they're like, oh yeah, damage is amazing, but the fact that you have this kind of instant get out of jail free card with the Wu Yang was one of the best highlights of this hero. Makes playing him a lot easier, especially if you're getting chased out by a tracer. You just hit the wave and you can get away for safety. But with the fact that you also have decreased HP, it's way easier for a tracer to chase after you without fear of like just getting triple orb now too. So I think Ultraviolet doesn't want to play the Ana again. That's another reason why I think that death count is a little bit higher. You are on a bit more of a static hero, and so now with the Kiriko, maybe you can get out of dodge a little bit faster. You've got the Swift Step now as another way that you can get out of harm's way, but I think it's going to be a really tough ask here for GK. I don't know if they're boomed at all.
I mean, I don't want to call it just yet, but it's not going to feel good. Lethal on the Sombra again, like on the defense. It's going to be good for Hacking Hawk. Oh, and he loses mech as he gets in the window. I wonder if he just opts to just kind of int in now. Yeah, okay, with CJ dead, he's probably just going to do that. Yeah, just int in, just get the reset. At least now you can kind of build up towards the EMPs too. They're going to want to use the speed ring, or they did want to use speed ring to get Hawk up to high ground and then kind of encircle them, but the Sombra, it's tough.
The Sombra is going to help out a lot in terms of just this Diva matchup and the Tracer matchup, but I wonder how well it's going to perform for EMP. With a lot of players that are super slippery, you can Swift Step away. You also have Suzus to be able to cleanse a lot of the Sombra damage, and then I think too, with just like the damage boosters is boosters for the Diva to get away. I don't know. We'll wait and find out. But first up, we do have this pulse bomb from Mimo.
Yeah, one person EMP normally is enough, right, for a single kill.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
You're probably looking for a 1 to 2 person EMP, and that's about it. All right, Sugar Free ends up taking their health back there, forces the recall in a sticky spot. Actually, Zero blinks, got a pulse bomb, but Apple chases Sugar Free down. Good 1v1 there from Mimone, taking Lenny to the very edge of the ropes. 2 minutes to go, EMP in hand for GK, but look at the positioning of Space Station. They're on high ground and they will get chased. They got the Lucio, but they're still going to get run down. You can't afford to stagger here.
No, you can't, but Lethal is already kind of like ready to go. Knows that if you are going to have a 1-person EMP, I think having Sugar Free is as good as it gets. But they really got to hit it now.
Oh, that's good. 4-man EMP from Lethal. CJ evaporating. And yeah, the same can be said for the rest of the team. Very easy kills for Lethal. That was fantastic. That's more than you can hope for from the Sombra there. Also, Just a small thing too, hacking these health back is going to put a very annoying situation here for Sugar Free, who wants to be kind of skating around the map, taking these megas, taking the minis. So Lethal kind of taking that resource away from him.
Absolutely. It makes Hawk's life harder as well if you want to try and play a little bit more solo operator. But for now, I think great first defense with ultimates from Geekay, but using that sound barrier does leave them quite susceptible to this sound barrier on the opposing side. So Spacestation have a bit of an advantage now heading into this next fight.
They might be able to get Horse Meg. Yeah, instant self-destruct. CJ kills Mimone, so 2 players dead for Geekay already. Point presence earned for Spacestation. UV looks like Avril, Cuppa. They've all checked into the hotel. Unfortunately, they're going to have to get out of there ASAP. Checkout is, well, 3 p.m. at the very latest. So Cuppa with Annihilation, it's going to be able to keep the fight alive, but he's just so low. He pops out, it'll be risky. There's an initial hack there onto Let, but that's going to be first point. Cuppa, UV dead. Just the cleanup arrives. 30 seconds to go, though. That was a big time bank spent for Geekay. So you're kind of happy with that. 3 minutes to go. You know where the payload ends. So at least you managed to get it down close to OT.
Oh, yeah. I think Geekay are more than happy with that defense. And now they get to roll into street space with the Annihilation. They've got the Pulse Bomb. So just send Mimone on that solo mission to try to land that Pulse onto somebody. But I think it's really the Annihilation for me in the street space that can give you that staying power. And so great defense as you see Geekay kind of start to rush up to this archway. Perfect place to pop the Annihilation.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's kind of trivial to hold, right? If you're Cuppa, you're chilling. Just sit in the corridor, just wait. They push through with a rush or something. You can just pop Annihilation, hopefully survive on the point.
Oh, he's a little low, though.
A tag team flank though on the sidelines, and yeah, I mean, he just gets run over. That's my goodness, that Annihilation, that Nemesis form block as well, like, it just didn't exist. Got dominated. 2 minutes to go, Rose, still. There's a rush.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, that is one player down. I think, like, if Lethal can get this EMP, I think it's Geekay, they just, like, throw ults at this. But it's actually enough of,
Those staggers.
Yeah, like, first you get the stagger there, but I think that the EMP is enough of a threat. Spacestation must know that that's coming up soon, so they don't want to overextend there and leave themselves to get another 30 seconds eaten off of their time bank because they just fell victim to an EMP. So smartly, they back up. They know they've got the bullet shot and pulse bomb of their own, but look at Lethal.
Oh, yeah, the solo. Oh, wait, CJ. Vengeance to Suzu, that swifts us away as well. Okay, Lethal's EMP getting absolutely nada. Avril ends up going down to Chronic, and now Spacestation Gaming on the point, pushing. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. The one big EMP absolutely did nothing, and Geekay, they're licking their wounds, having to retreat. They got a double support ultimate coming up, though. They got the beat already, and it's 10% away from the rush, but look how close that golden box of victory is. A very swift push here from Geekay is required.
Yeah, they're going to have to just use the sound barrier to go in, I fear. The hazard is going to be good to help them get back a little bit faster, but they have to send Mimone into touch.
It is the bowler straight on top of Cuppa. Sound barrier connects with 4. It's going to be good. Chronic takes the skies, but a nice little flank here is going to at least push them back a little bit, and even a rush to lay it on top. Spacestation Gaming still have another fight, though. 30 seconds to go. There's a minute. There's a meter and 78, so you're close, but you need to reset.
Yeah, Hawk is actually really lucky to be able to get that environmental reset, and now they get to come back in as a full team of 5. Then with Spacestation, double support ultimates here. It's really hard to see them not winning this next fight, as long as they can get there, and they do touch the payload. But that's something that Lethal is hoping to stop in their tracks, especially with Mimone going in with the 1 clip and the pulse bomb available.
Tried, it was so close. Oh, the stick's good though, and left eye.
No sound barrier.
He couldn't. He would have feared the Ajax there if he hit the Q, but CJ to the rescue. Didn't end up getting hacked out. They were looking for that Ajax, but a good pulse bomb will do it. UV falling, though, is still disaster for Geekay, as everybody from Spacestation is fighting on the rush. Hawk with a double, sitting on the point like a statue, just gunning everybody down. And Len's going to return with a sound barrier too. Luckily, they saved it. And now Geekay fall over like a lawn chair on a hot summer's day as Spacestation Gaming take a match point.
Wow, I think that there was not a better target there for the pulse bomb. It was great that it was the Lucio, just to be able to get back to the fight, and the rush to be able to secure that out. I think that's really why the Lucio was a fine target there. You just let the Lucio go down, and then you come in to save the day with a sound barrier later. And so credit where credit is due. Space Station up 2-1 in this series. It's looking tough out there for GK. This is weird territory to be in.
Before, it was Space Station that took that first map, then GK proceed with the next 2 maps. This is exactly the opposite of what happened. And then GK in that map 5 series against Space Station, they lose Suravasa, they lose New Queen Street, but they kind of petered out. They slowed down towards the very end of the series. It felt like Suravasa was kind of a cakewalk for Hawk, cakewalk for Space Station. It was a 3-0. That double remake kill was nasty too from Hawk. It looked great. But
it was awesome.
I think this is kind of danger zone for GK now. Like, you cannot let this go down again. And I do want to touch on the left point as well about not using the beat there. You try and use beat, maybe it lands. You got the 50-50, right? He was already kind of like half wall riding, so a little bit of extra.
Never. Oh, so don't ever do it there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, he died with beat, but CJ had the rush, and it was a nice stick too. You can see it here. He's on against the wall, boom, hits it. Yeah, so he wouldn't have been able to get it off anyway. And then you know you're losing, so you can come back in time. Oh man, Space Station. Really, really strong mental there from Lep, not kind of panicking and trying to hit the beat to survive and then push your team forward. Unbelievable stuff from SSG Rose. GK, they've got a push map to choose now, or they've got a flashpoint. So Suravasa or Atlas for that pull there.
It's hard to see a world where GK actually get a map advantage now. I think your best bets were really looking at the escort and the hybrid pool, and now that both of those are gone, do you really want to play Suravasa versus Zarya? The Zarya ban is out. You can't do that anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
You really want to play a push map versus SSG with Zarya unbanned? I don't think so. I fear this is a 3-1 victory for Space Station if you're a GK fan. But if you're a Space Station fan, then congratulations. I think this is probably a 3-1 victory. Like, you're eating good tonight.
Suravasa, they ended up banning a Reaper, and then a Hazard was banned. And it was an SSG map pick. And then GK picked New Queen Street. But yeah, you've banned the Zarya. We kind of spoken all stage about how SSG, they can get kind of owned by the ban system because you know what Hawk wants to play. You want to play D.Va, you want to play Zarya. Looks like it's going to be Atlas instead, so we're not kind of following the same pattern as we saw in their previous series. I believe Atlas was not available in the pool at that time as well, so kind of a brand new one here. But still, it's just a good mode for Zarya, like in general. You're fighting on a single point, you're kind of rushing to this point, then to the next point, then to the next point. You're always fighting around a consolidated area, so GK pulling that Zarya ban lever on King's Row and then losing out. Not good. We'll see what they want to ban going in. It's SSG. They're 1 win away, Rose. 1 map away from locking their spot in at Stockholm.
Yeah, feels good to be a Space Station fan, especially after what happened in that stage 2. You'd love to be able to see this redemption arc for them going into the World Finals, especially with just so much confidence. I think over GK, this was the stage 1 and stage 2 champions. And now you have taken it to them, getting that rematch. And it really does look good. Like, of course, the series isn't over. GK could come back. They could just, focus up, get this 4th map win, and then we go into a map number 5 to decide it all. But the way that Space Station are playing, and especially with how dominant King's Row was, it's really hard to see a world now where Space Station do not win this map. It is Atlas. They have Zarya that they can play. If there are any bans at all, maybe it's like, do you consider banning a Lucio here so that the Zarya has less speed to work with? But then I think that it also inherently hurts your own team. So that was a really hard ban to justify. And then maybe it's just a Ramatra ban anyway. So then what does Kappa play?
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we saw the map pool just a second ago for the playoff stage, but there's a map pool as well for the World Finals. Let's take a quick look at that one. Got Busan and Nepal back in the mix. Busan, my beloved. Midtown in there, which is kind of cool. I don't mind Route 66, Shambali Monastery. It used to be you could never take point 2, but you know, it's long gone of the times of that. Runasapi and New Junk City is in the pool too, so no more Atlas. This is the pool for the World Finals. Obviously, there's a bit of time in between now or the end of the playoffs World Finals, so teams have got plenty of time to prepare, but there's at least some familiarity in a lot of these maps too. Obviously, Ilios is still in, Kings is still in, you got New Queen Street still in, so you're kind of chilling if you prefer a couple of those maps in the different modes. But yeah, that's the map pool for there. But as we go back to this series, Atlas the pick for Geekay. That C9, I'm curious if it's kind of haunting, if it's kind of weighing heavy on the comms, Rose, as we do go into a potential final map. Hoping for a map 5, but Geekay on that one did get kind of run over.
Well, it's so hard because we did do the listen-in on Kings Row where I was kind of thinking, yeah, they actually sound fine. Like, they do sound like they're still thinking through what that next fight's going to look like. They're still all tracking. They're still all with their wits about them. But it's really difficult to come back from something like that. That's going to just test your professional levels of Overwatch competitive play. But yeah, these bands are something. Symmetra and Junker Queen.
JQ here probably to protect
the Ram, right?
From SSG. I would imagine so. And then Symmetra, we've seen Geekay play a little bit of Sim. I've seen MyMo play a little bit of it, but it's like it's okay. Like, I don't think it's like anything on the EMEA sims, because that region has the sim virus, so like they're always going to play sim, or at least try and play it in some regard, and it looks incredible, to be fair. That's just kind of the start. That is the hero of the region, but in North America, not so much. Let's load on in though. Atlas, 4th map, Queen ban for Geekay, probably a protection for that Ram, like you said, and SSG banning the Symmetra, which, you know, is fine. Look, Hawk is going to play Zarya again, and if you want, you can even play the D.Va if you really want something super speedy, but Zarya all stage long has looked just picturesque. Tier 1.
And that Ramatra just, I think, also hasn't looked amazing to me, if I'm being honest. I feel like the Ramatra, fixes, I guess. We can't even call it nerfs, but like the fixes to the hero did feel like it kind of pushed it down a couple of notches in terms of what people might want to lock into. But I'm happy to be proven wrong here, Jack. I think both of these teams actually want to play the Ram. They're gonna play the mirror.
Okay.
And I can't tell if this is just like ultra confidence here from Spacestation, or if they really do believe in this particular hero pick for Atlas. But we are playing in a lot more close quarters than we would on like Saravasa, so I think maybe it really is just, hey, we'll take this Ram duel and be happy with it. So
yeah, we'll see Mymone and Sugar Free just in the perpetual 1v1 duel on the point. Lethal not choosing to actually go the Freya, actually instead opting for the Cassidy, and yeah, hitting shots like that, you're feeling pretty good. Leper already goes down, Sugar Free follows. Very early first cap there by Geekay as well. I don't mind it. I mean, Freya does require a little bit of setup in a way. You have to not find an off angle, but you're still trying to take aim and then dash, take aim, take aim, dash, take aim, dash kind of thing, updraft, dash, etc. The Cassidy, a little bit more upward front kind of burst potential, and actually just chunking down the Ram too, and even the Ram shield is kind of high value.
yeah, I mean, if you don't have the shield, then there's a lot less that's going to help support your team from something like the Freya. So I think we have to try to focus down that defensive capability, but we're just gonna really fight here, Jack. It's just Geekay beating them to their spawn.
Cuffer, he was trying to hold S there, but actually got caught on the the main column, was like kind of jumping backwards, but whoops daisy. I survived that if he weaved his way around it pretty early. Looks like Lethal's hunting for picks. Mymone gets one though, it's Chronic. Okay, as classic Flashpoint rules dictate, this should be a close to 99. Pulse Bomb connects to Hawk, but UV comes up with kills and actually pops the rush. I mean, why not? Hawk's pretty low and actually almost alone in this bottom half of the map as Ultraviolet. Holy! Okay, a little support combat on the point, and that'll be Geekay on the back of UV, taking that one with ease.
I really thought that, like, okay, Geekay, they might lose this, like, the Hawk gets that pick on a lethal, and then all of a sudden Ultraviolet just turns things around 180, says, I can carry the team, lays down the rush, and yeah, absolutely dominates Spacestation. So that's one very easy flashpoint earned. And after Kuppa had also gone down, so it was a player advantage just across the board there for Geekay. But who needs that when you've got Ultraviolet? We're gonna go to the next flashpoint, which we will see Geekay kind of like beat them to the punch, and Hawk can switch over to Diva now. So maybe he just wants to give up on that Ram duel entirely. But Diva has worked out, but Lethal has already destroyed your backline. So
right. That guy hasn't got a revolver in his hand. He's got like an M1 Abrams gun. Like, it is ridiculous. All right, that's another point cap. And yeah, like you said, maybe to go a little bit faster here for Spacestation. Ooh, that was cheeky. Kind of taps Chronic and then instantly goes for the high noon, thinking maybe Chronic would get an instant skull there. A little bit too far away, but at least scares off Spacestation. They're going to take an alternate route now.
Now it might feel like they force their hand to use the sound barrier too, or something else really high value. Well, Suzu already comes out because of that pulse bomb as well.
There's the rush. No rush for Ultraviolet here, so Spacestation Gaming are going to cap. The Geekay aren't giving them kills. They backed off, happy with the 50%. And now re-engage with the sound barrier potentially, but Lep can kind of do the same thing, but actually getting onto the point is going to be quite tough. Sugar Free has got pulse bomb for the cross and actually spotted people out. Suzu used. Jumped up there. Go time. Ultraviolet, though, pretty low. Still survives. Sugar Free has to back out. Triple blink to the back line and then has to recall instantly. Chronic and Mimone end up trading, but Kuppa now on the point with Annihilation, and Hawk's mech looking a little battered. As Kuppa just kind of destroys him with that Nemesis form. Sound barrier used by Admiral. Lep used his as well, so Geekay once again come out on top.
Yeah,
That
you
was,
just
wait,
like
that
give
was
the
an
sound
Apex
barrier.
actually from Lep.
Oh, I was gonna say it didn't even matter though because Admiral gives the sound barrier over to Ultraviolet and he just double kills again. So like, yeah, we need a replay of that one, but either way, Ultraviolet coming up big, he's gonna have a rush in just a couple of seconds as well as this Annihilation from Kuppa. So this must just be another flashpoint secured here for Geekay. What a fantastic start from them so far. Spacestation have this ball of shot to work with, but I really last second touch there from Sugar Free to trigger the overtime.
Touch. Okay, one person touches, but it's Sugar Free. Quickly dealt with. There's a nice bolus, but better Suzu. And Hawk has lost mech. And I'm just getting confirmation. Yeah, Lep did end up Ajaxing there. Caught it off screen. So Admiral Sandbarrier just straight up better. And Geekay, not only did they take that point, they got 4 ults. Like, they are feasting. I mean, you can't really lose this next fight. Like, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but you end up popping rush on the point as it unlocks. Spacestation try and run in. It's not happening, Chief. Sugar Free, swapping just the Genji.
Yeah, I wonder if this is just discomfort then. Sugar Free's Genji is amazing, but is this going to be something that can help you equalize versus this Cassidy? All right, there's one answer, but you got more than that you've got to get, especially with that ultimate advantage as you were seeing.
Ooh, I jinxed it so hard. All right, good
That was a
kill.
true master curse, Jack.
Yeah, actually insane. They lose the fight, they use Rush and Pulse, and Spacestation Gaming just in the neutral win it. Okay.
But you were right, because that is the theory. Like, theoretically, Geekay should never have lost that. But Sugar Free comes up so big with one pick. He gets another one as well while the rush is active. And then Geekay cannot invest ultimates there. That would have been a tremendous throw. So Spacestation with first control of the flashpoint, maybe this is where they get the reverse sweep. It is so sweepable here. Spacestation have already done it before, and they're going to be able to just back away from this high noon. Lethal shouldn't get anything here.
Wow.
Very close,
Chronic
though.
had the skull. Oh, gets taken out of the skies, though. He's got like an 8-time scope on that, too. Nice headshot onto Chronic. Annihilation pops on the rush. So these rushes for both teams, to be fair, have just not worked out at all as Geekay win that fight, get the cap. 63%. Remake for Hawk, though. Okay, that's actually a good... I don't mind that at all. If you're Geekay, get that self-destruct out. That's really nice. Lethal now switching over to the Sombra. Going back to the tried and true.
Oh, Spacestation know that, like, as long as they don't lose Hawk there, they have a really quick recontest available. They're gonna have the Bola shot. Like, Sound Barrier is also very, very close here for Leb. And there's a lot of territory you've got to cross. Maybe Chronic just gets a pick. But yeah, Lethal with the Sombra here, it has been impactful. We have seen it get some big EMPs, but it's not gonna be an EMP in time right now.
Manual hack there onto Sugar Free. Lethal getting a fair bit of free ult charge. However, quickly revealed by the Diva. Yeah, Hawk, a little bit smarter than that. Ends up chasing down the Sombra. Spacestation looking to cap now, although still Mimo hanging around the periphery. Cuffer on the point, no Nemesis form, can't survive any longer. So, yeah, you know what? I'm happy with 80%. Absolutely. Come back in. You got Rush, you got Beat. Hopefully this time, no more Ajaxes.
I think the biggest thing for Spacestation is that they've got Pete to help bolster a Blade from Sugar Free. Talk about a survivable Genji. I think that's really where Spacestation can clutch out this flashpoint. And look, they go in now.
Yeah, Beat Blades used. Okay, no Ajaxes this time around. Lep secures the blaster onto the ground, and Ultraviolet is already dead. Point flip attempted there, but a pixel away. Unfortunately, Space Station continue to hold. Cover as well is just torn apart. No healing from Ultraviolet means no chance you stay alive. As Space Station living on 9 lives here, they do end up capping the point. They don't give Geekay the clean 3-0.
Flashpoint.
It's reverse sweepable, Jack. I just feel it in my bones. Already one flashpoint secured here for Space Station. They get to move on to the second, still with ultimates in the bank. This remake can be very big, especially because look at how far you've already pushed Ultraviolet.
But this is how that last point should have gone there with the rush early on. As the point kind of unlocks, you win the fight. Hawk jumps off the map, goes for the reset, and now you have the EMP. This, I would say though, this point for EMP, 2 very large columns on the point. Ideally, you push up and then use EMP in this choke point. Otherwise, fighting on the point with it might be a little tough.
And that's what they're doing. Cup is already trying to meet Space Station there. Jigford gets the wraparound, hoping to try to force something out. And also, yeah, just get the touch. There's been no capture yet from Geekay. So this is still a
Everyone's gonna die
for Space Station.
The EMP does end up connecting with 4 though, so Avral's death might just go in vain. There's Chronic with a kill. Oh, that EMP was so good too. Self-destruct as well. Hawk gets the remake. And a very heads-up play there from Sugar Free. Blinks around the point, gets the touch, so Geekay don't cap, so they don't get any free percent.
And now it's on the other foot. Space Station have controlled Flashpoint, and they're the ones that have the ultimate in the bank. This rush is going to be great on the point. You also have this bull shot at range. It can just help to deter Geekay from actually coming in and getting the touch. But let's be really careful. Mimo is hunting for you.
Holy, he's just gunning for him. But unfortunately, Mimo just shoots left at range there at the very end. As Carver just dug a very shallow grave there in the front line. Space Station just back off again. Lethal's EMP rose as well. If Geekay cap, like, you probably are going to get it for this point, but if Space Station Gaming just continue their warpath, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to get it. Well, it looks like one person's going to tag point at the very least to cause some pressure, but Ultraviolet's already dead. A very quick conference Space Station. They're just running all over him. Sound Barrier connects with 4 though as they try and keep this one alive. The Disu on Talk is going to be good for 1, or 0.5, I suppose. He ends up getting killed eventually there. They had to throw a lot into this fight, even more in fact. Wow, they're even popping Annihilation to keep themselves up here. WMimone and Cuffer cleaning up kills as the 99% comes in for SSG.
99% is still so much. I mean, Geekay, they could have been 3 fights in a row now to actually win the map with how fast Space Station are coming back. And maybe it's 2, but left sound barrier, I mean, don't extend too far forward because then they're just going to get run over. So Geekay, they got to know that that's in the pocket. Lep is already amping up. They're so ready to go. But Lethal has this EMP that Lep also has to be very wary of. Yeah. You want this sound barrier to actually respond to this EMP.
It's the EMP versus sound barrier. Tail is all the time, but Lep's going to actually use it first. The EMP does end up connecting with 4 again. Lep pounced on, but quickly manages to escape away. No one's gone down just yet either. Geekay are trying to chase Chronic. They managed to get the kill. Mimo throws the pulse bomb out, but a quick remake here from Hawk will mean he's back in the fight in just a moment. Comfort dead to Sugar Free though, as the pulse bomb thrown out as a last Hail Mary from LeBron as, well, ends up going down to Avril, unfortunately. But even with Hawk remaking here, because Comfort died, there's no point presence for Geekay right now. Avril's going to be able to get a final touch here to re-trigger OT as Comfort rolls back in with the Wrecking Ball. But now he's not got any CDs left remaining. But again, Wrecking Ball on the point is going to be good for at least 10 or 15 seconds or so. Focusing fire is going to be, have to be on point here to take down Comfort.
No, it's bad though because Space Station have ults now.
I mean, well, the hack does end up coming down onto CJ as Soundbarrier from Avril is going to keep everything topped up nice and healthy. be. This rush on the point is gonna do Spacestation some good as Admiral gets booped away by Hawk. Another manual hack onto Hawk there as well. This is gonna force him to use thrusters back up to the high ground to recover some health. Cuffer, of course, surviving on the Wrecking Ball, activates those adaptive shields to get basically his entire health bar back in green health form. But My Moan dead tips the scales in the favor of Spacestation now. A 4v5 on the point, and Sugarfree also ends up going down. Both Reese's dead, and a sound barrier from Left to keep us going. OT still in session with Geekay struggling to find a place in this fight. As Suzu wants to cover to keep him alive, but he's very, very low now. Ultraviolet is close to this ultimate, just needs to hit one shuriken, but it's not to be. And eventually now is going to flip over to Geekay, or at least Ultraviolet hopes so. A Pokemon from My Mo could tip the scales once again. Finds a double kill on the backline. CJ and Chronic end up going down. A Pokemon on top of Hawk as My Mo dies to self-destruct. Still Cover is alive somehow. Eventually brought down by Sugarfree as the mines are laid down on the point. 19 HP and no healing from the Lucio there to keep him topped up. GK eventually find the flip there, but it is going to be another touch at the very least here with a speed boost here from Left to push him back in.
Oh my god, but they're walking into the EMP!
Oh, the EMP is good as well. Stops everybody in their tracks. All the movement speed and everything cut short there. Stops them from touching the point. That EMP was genius from Lethal. Stops thrusters, stops amp it up, stops everything as GK keep themselves alive in this series. A 3-1 on Atlas. Holy.
Oh my
that final
God.
fight there lasting for a good 10-15 minutes. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, jeez. Kappa survived for so long, and it was just the power of the team to keep him alive. It extended the fight long enough that you did see that EMP, so it could close out that map and bring us to a map number 5. But Jack, it was looking so dicey. I thought Spacestation, they had enough longevity there. Like, you know, if Hawk actually gets back in a mech and he doesn't die to that pulse bomb on the floor, I wonder if this is actually just a reverse sweep. Because then you've got the EMP for the next point if you are GK, but then you just get another full rotation of ultimates if you're Spacestation. That really was reversible. Like, it was so close. Oh no.
Very doable there for Spacestation. I mean, it's something about Atlas that just draws out these fights. Just think about that point too. I feel like we've had numerous, like, 10-minute fights. I mean,
That
what,
point's
like...
so big.
Yeah, there was a couple EMPs there as well, like, as the fight kind of petered out towards the end. That was just an insane... And look, the longevity there from Cuffer, like you said, can't be understated on the ball. Just being able to, like, get a mega health pack, get a mini, like, get back in, receive some, like, gets the adaptive shields, receive some more healing, mines on the point to scatter everybody. Like, eventually Sugarfree kills him, but it lasts long enough. And look at this, boom, stops everybody. Oh my goodness, Lethal at the very end. Nice EMP, nice work. Map number 5. Look, we've had 3-0s all day. Give us one.
Woo!
And Spacestation GK, deliver.
Yeah, this is why we saved it for the last one. Haha. Like, totally on purpose that we had to find a banger to close out our day. I'm so here for it, though. I mean, hopefully this means that GK have recovered a little bit from that second map. They get to go in with a little bit more adrenaline in their veins. And so this is gonna be a photo finish here, Jack. One of these teams gets to make it to Stockholm, and it comes down to this final map to decide which one just gets to punch their ticket immediately. It has been so hard fought, though, between these two teams. I don't know how this one's gonna finish.
Well, New Queen Street was the pick of GK last time, but it is Spacestation that gets to pick now. We'll see if New Queen Street is going to be the same thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think it might be. They banned Tracer last time around. That was GK. Again, I think they deferred a lot of their bans. And then Ram was a ban for SSG. So we'll see if that leads there. But yeah, keeping your mental and your mind in the game for GK there is got to be tough. Even after that Rialto, maybe still lingering on the mind. But a map number 5. We promised, and it has finally come, Rose. This upper bracket and this ticket to Stockholm on the line. Like, both teams want to make it. SSG with only a single loss in the season against Team Liquid. They could have that disgusting rematch up in that upper bracket finals later on if they win, or it might be GK.
What a horrible short straw to draw here when you are the second seed and you don't get to pick your opponent and you just have to play against GK again. I think both of them were not like super happy with the luck of the draw there. But this is what we saw in that last series that they had to close out our season. And the rematch happening so shortly after this, it's delivered just like this series did.
Yeah, like you said, that is what happened last time. And there we go. We're going back to New Queen Street. And if you cast your minds back, or if you weren't there, maybe you didn't watch that series, you definitely should have done. But small recap, it was almost a complete cap from SSG. There was a very interesting kind of like swap for my moan throughout that series, where my moan was on Sombra a lot of the time, and it just wasn't working. And it was kind of the Sombra trap, I think. Like, okay, I'm on Sombra. We're not winning this first couple of fights, okay, but if I can get an EMP, we can turn it around. And it just kind of kept dragging on. And then SSG were like, okay, that's fine. Like, use EMP, we're just going to keep winning these fights. And we end up pushing all the way to like a full cap. And then eventually, my moan got it popping on the Echo. So we'll see if they end up coming into this with the Sombra, or if my moan's going to change to something else. And it will be SSG banning the Ram. So again, taking that one away from cover. Same story as last series, but this time GK banning Freya.
So with the Ramatra banned out, Kappa did play the Wrecking Ball on New Queen Street. I think that also maybe is a little bit of a part of that problem, compounded with the Sombra getting stuck in EMP jail where you really want to have that ultimate. Sometimes it just takes some time for that Wrecking Ball to set up. And, you know, Kappa switching over to it didn't feel like he missed a beat at the end of Atlas, but having to actually try to string together a bunch of wins back to back on something like Push, where every second, every meter matters. That setup time that you require is invaluable time that could just be wasted.
Oh man. I honestly would love to see an Echo here. I think banning Freya is kind of nice too. Removes one of those kind of counters for the Echo. My moan, playing Echo, duping Hawk on the tank, who's going to be playing like D.Va, Zarya, kind of these brawl tanks. Like, I think that's going to be a really good option for them. We'll see what he ends up picking, because that really did kind of paint a not the nicest picture for GK in that map. Like, sticking on that Sombra throughout. We'll see if Sugar Free can come up big though on the Tracer again, who also had a monstrous performance in that last series. To get on the line here for both Spacestation and GK. Loser goes down to that lower bracket to fight for that single spot. Those 4 teams in lowers, they're fighting for 1 spot. There's only 3 for NA, and we'll see who ends up making it. Here's your top band heroes updated for today. Look at that Queen bands. There's 8 of them, goddamn. And Freya obviously being up there. As we've seen a lot more Freya, a lot more Sojourn being picked over the last couple of weeks. No shock there to see her banned once again.
I think the Echo would be a much better choice here, knowing that the Freya is banned out, because last time it was the Tracer. Okay, well, you know, Echo actually does get really nice range away from that, but Freya can hit you from super far away. So I think with that out of the picture, maybe you still are a little bit worried about a Sojourn or a Cassie, but you could definitely still play the Echo, no problem. And then if you're dealing with a Sojourn, then like, hey, just Winston or Wrecking Ball the Sojourn, yo.
Or you just go on Tracer again. Like it was banned last time, so my moan, maybe it's like, oh, actually, like, that we want to play Sombra here because my Tracer's banned, and then we can kind of move from there, and then obviously then pivoting to the Echo. So without that ban, like, my moan can just rock this. Cuffer on the Winston, Hulk obviously going to be an off-tank here, going to be playing the Zarya. And when it comes to these, like, rush-style comps too, versus the more divey stuff, Ball, Winston, etc., the dive stuff does have a higher ceiling. Overall, the very, very tippity top, like, you know, crazy raccoon level Overwatch, you know what I'm saying? Like, it will beat out this Brawl style with the Zarya, but when it's someone like Hawk, who's had so many years as an off-tank player, like even in Overwatch League as well, playing against the best in the world, like, it's as even can get. Well, not so, okay, Lethal, not even anymore, as a 2-tap. Sugar Free left dead. Oh, that's the first fight over in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, go off, Lethal. Oh my goodness. A 3K just to start off New Queen Queen Street. I mean, if there's a statement that GK want to make, it would be here. Just get as much meterage as possible, try to get that first checkpoint, and then maybe just do the Uno reverse card and try to get the full cap on New Queen Street yourselves. Already taking this forward positioning gives a lot of space for this payload to kind of move forward, as Sugar Free is now going to come out on the Reaper to try to deal with this Winston. It worked out really great for them on Rialto, but can Sugar Free kind of get that same type of purchase where this Winston has actually a lot more space to work with on New Queen Street? You don't necessarily have to play on a corner if you're the Winston.
We're so low. Nice Suzu. That's it.
No, they just get the
Yeah.
What?
Okay, they get the point and a pick. Okay, not good. Whoa, CJ's dead too. Uh-oh. That's not exactly nice territory for Spacestation now. I believe as well, the last time they played, it was the opposite side, so I think both teams are very familiar with this side of the map. You can't let Lethal get into the pick, surely. Okay, Hawk's now on the Diva. I like this pick. Sugar Free back on the Tracer. They're going a little bit quicker. Hawk on the Diva as well. Can punish Lethal a little bit easier than when he was on the Zarya. But still, a checkpoint in 81 meters. You're chilling. You're feeling real good.
Oh, but there's a rush now.
And Leb's did it again. Like, he's just being microwaved by Lethal. Like, this isn't even fair. Overclock as well going into the spawn. Don't let him have this one as well, please. A nice Suzu there does end up saving Chronic's life, but this is like actual dominance. Just lay it all on the table, son.
No, geez, Jack, they might full cap the map. I mean, the Bible is a full spawn.
Already?
Like, yeah, you already have over 100 meters over your opponent. They've got to use the rush here. Hopefully that's going to help at least a little bit, but oh my goodness, not before, like, they get around that final quarter. And everybody else still presses the S key. Like, Cup is the only one that actually gets eliminated there. Well, maybe... Yeah, Admiral.
Get one more.
Sorry about that one.
All right, quick reset. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, this is Avril theory, surely, right? 120 meters to 0. He's very specific and technical about it, but yeah, this has got to be my moan. The wings of the pulse bomb. Here's the Lucio at the very least.
I see them now. But this is such a quick recon test for GK. They've got 3 more ultimates to do this with.
They're going to be in. I love this tempo play. Oh, the stick is beautiful as well from my moan. A double kill for the Tracer. Space Station Gaming. They got a batten down the hatches now. They've got a long way to climb. 6 meters versus 126. A team kill. GK unfazed to what happened earlier on in the series. That disastrous C9 in Rialto. Just honestly a fart in the wind at this point. Like, it might as well be ancient history, Rose.
I mean, the new history is going to be that GK might full cap this map. We still have 6.5 minutes left, but they're already knocking down the doors. They want this win in this final map. It really would be a statement maker after what happened in the earlier parts of this series. But GK, no, they don't need to overextend this fight. They can use ultimates here just to try to delay. But getting CJ, this might be the time.
What is happening? Are we wishing the 2 same teams here? Okay, Chronic, Sugar Free, Pop and Oaks, OC, Pulse Bomb, get a kill each. Sugar Free follows up with another one. But still, fight after fight after fight, they need to win. Aim looking clean from Chronic. Good team kill, remech, so Hawk's alive, so they have 5 on the point. But they are fighting into a rush now. Rush versus Beat.
I mean, the Beat I still like in this situation. But what do you get after that, I think, is the hurdle you're going to have to cross after you just lay this beat down and actually start to get some progress. Spacestation have yet to make meaningful gains in this map because of how dominant GK were and the snowball that they created. But if they can get the first checkpoint here, then Spacestation are back in this. But it starts with the beat and not just falling prey to this overclock from Lethal. There's going to be 2 DPS ult here for GK if this extends even further.
Cover really low. Well, there's the overclock on the high ground, and Hawk instantly kind of responding. Leb lands a 2-person sound barrier for Leb. Yeah, he probably deserved that one in the back of the head. Lethal finds 1. It was only Sugar Free and Leb that got that beat. And they're going to have to reset again because GK pushing the box. They've stolen it, and you're on the wrong side of the map. There is going to be a rush there to try and stop Cover getting away with murder here, but Hawk is extremely low, not even in the fight right now. CJ and Sugar Free at least come out with kills, but a DMAC onto Hawk is going to at least waylay them for the time being. Quickly jumping off the map to get a quick reset. Any kill from Lethal here is good, even if he gets none, still it is time off the bank. Nice shot onto Quiet though.
I mean, gets one anyway, so there's even more time wasted. Faces are gonna have to wait though for Chronic to come back. I don't even think you want to invest the power slide to actually get back in, but it's tough because if you don't, then GK beats you to the punch again for the recontest as Maimon comes in and steals the bot away. Spacestation know they've got to back up and make sure that Chronic is a factor in this fight, but all the while, GK now they can come in with the resources like the sound barrier that they held on to. At this pulse bomb from Maimon, he's so ready to just like, you know, finish this off, dunk it home. You
Sugarfree needs
Maimon wants another one.
Yeah, he does. I'm trying to chase Sugarfree there, check him a little bit, bump his chest. Admiral with the sound barrier. And they can, Rose, they can stalemate this, 100%. They can just sit here and chill. Sound barrier ends up coming in regardless. It's a three-person. Unfortunately, Lethal didn't end up get that. Sugarfree knows it, trying to pounce on his prey. Oh, gets him in the end. Hits the recall too. 103 HP against the Lucio. Ends up slinking away, but Maimon with the chase. Again, making it kind of scrappy here. Is decent. A little bit of extra bot push, slowly but surely. Spacestation are getting meterage, Rose. But look at that time. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
They are close to this first checkpoint, though, and it's looking good for them to claim it. Overclock for these longer sight lines. You can play in the building. You've also got the reback. Oh, but left. No way. They still have ultimate advantage, though. So, like, oh.
Yeah, but they're just going to push it back with this overclock. Oh, good stick from Sugarfree, though. Shuts down the OC, but still, you are up players. Primal Rage is going to get popped, and GK have stolen the bot. I swear, Lethal slipped a magnet in left pocket or something. These headshots are looking, and all these body shots, to be fair, are looking too easy with that railgun.
And another stalemate. You called it out, Jack. They really can just continue to force these fights in their own territory, making Spacestation use the rush to actually try to engage on this checkpoint.
And the overclock too. Might be able to get kills here. It's going to be a couple at least. But still, finding extras is good. No, okay. Team kill for Spacestation. A semblance of control, but with 2 minutes to go and 90 meters or something like that. My word.
That's 4 team fights that they have to win back to back to back. And that's going to be a tough ask. Right now, you've got the sound barrier, so you've got a little bit of an advantage that way. But as we get towards the end, GK are going to have another rotation of ultimates. And who knows what Maimon is capable of after we saw that double pulse from earlier. It all comes down to this, Jack. There is a spot at Stockholm on the line, and it looks like it's slipping away from Spacestation's fingers.
It's close. Left almost receiving lobotomy there again by Lethal. Buffer now, splitting up the team. Maimon forced to recall already, but now the Mega Health Pack room in control of GK. Cuffer, both Cuffer and Hawk pretty low. Sugarfree follows it up with a kill. You cannot afford to lose anybody here, but a mech will do it. A self-destruct force as a good trade if you're Maimon. Buzz Crash mode initiated by Spacestation, but we are closing in on OT with a minute to go.
Really good for Spacestation that they were able to get that first checkpoint, and they still have ultimates. They didn't need to use that sound barrier in that last fight. So really impressive that they have that now to answer that of Admiral's, which he's very, very close to. But you also have that if you want to try to use that sound barrier as a response mechanism to this overclock from Lethal. He has been able to work through this before. The overclocks are still doing 30 amounts of damage. And the fact that they used it early, Lethal has free reign now.
He does, yeah. One slide was the only thing. I mean, he's very, very in a good spot to just lace it down the front line. There's going to be a rush too. Landed on top for Spacestation. Once again, Lethal dodging her out of the way of Sugarfree. Spacestation Gaming, though, they're keeping up this pressure. 30 seconds to go as Cover jumps in. Pops the Primal Rage. Chronic in trouble, though, up against that lamppost. Manages to get another slide away, but CJ's already dead. And now the healing cut to ribbons as Hawk tries to go for a reset. There's 20 seconds to go, and they need 5 players. And I think maybe GK, they're going to try and push this bot now all the way to this mid-section of the map. Forward spawns available for SSG.
They are going to be able to get back in touch, but that trickle skill on the left was a big deal. You don't have that speed anymore. They are split up, and GK have ults here. They're just going to finish off the map now and the series. Jack, they might be going to Stockholm.
There's the rush from Ultraviolet on the stairs. Hawk already in trouble. Pulse Bomb on the ground. Chronic gets forced away as well. OT, someone to Spacestation needs to be able to touch again, but W Maimon is 2v1ing right now in the back line. Sugarfree was the one to touch. Now it is Chronic, but he's so low. Gets up to the high ground. Has got the overclock as well. A large decision attempt, but Lethal shuts him down with a railgun of his own. And now it's all on to Lep to try and get the final touch, but it's not going to be GK. And the revenge is oh so sweet. And a dish best served cold on New Queen Street. They beat out Spacestation Gaming on a map they lost last time in their map 5, and they booked themselves a ticket to Stockholm.
What a complete opposite story we saw from this rematch versus what they just played only a couple of days ago. A phenomenal performance from Geekay to be able to turn the tides and turn around that second map to be able to get this victory. And what an impressive performance from Lethal specifically. Heads and shoulders above the rest of the server. 10.6k damage, 24-7. Yeah, okay, he died a little bit, but like, come on, this man was crushing it.
Pick after pick after pick on the left, just over and over again. And a 120-meter lead, like an initial push, was what they were rewarded with, thanks to Lethal on this map. Like, what's that, 120.37? Good luck, have fun. Like, it was almost an impossibility for Spacestation, right? Getting that push that early is just ridiculous. And then they broke down the fights every single time to these scrappy engagements where Kuffer's diving in, splitting the team, and then Lethal's on an off angle. My Moan is peppering you in the back. A very tough mountain to climb. Revenge and a grudge match, honestly. That map 5 from a couple of weeks ago. Geekay, they were on top throughout most of the stage, Rose. Not quite on top this time around. They still have to get through Team Liquid to get to that finals, but they've guaranteed themselves that spot in Stockholm to face international competition.
It would not have felt like Overwatch LAN if it weren't for Geekay being there, and the squad is on such an incredible performance over the entire season. Congratulations to Geekay for booking their ticket and being able to compete there. Spacestation, so close. Even though there was that huge meterage lead gained by Geekay so early, the stats are very close. Every single map that I feel like we played out today, it was very similar statistics from both teams, except for, you know, we're in the middle there.
We don't talk about that.
But otherwise, it was a really close series and something that everybody was expecting out of these two teams. So I'm so glad that they were able to deliver on that promise. We got an amazing match to be able to close out our day, and such a brawl to see who will make it to Stockholm. And well, it's just what great Overwatch, Jack.
It's fantastic. Honestly, we had everything. We had the C9, we had an Ajax, we had a map 5, we had an insane lead on New Queen Street as well. Like, yeah, it looks great. And now, unfortunately for Spacestation, they're fighting against 3 other teams down in that lower bracket to secure a spot at Stockholm. There's only one in that losers bracket. You won your first opening games. You're good. You're sailing. Team Liquid and Geekay ending up booking those first 2 tickets. There's only one more left to fight over. Let's hand it over to the desk, though. They can wrap up the day and set us up for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you both so much for calling the action, and what action this was. Listen, this was the most anticipated match of the day, no doubt about that. Mostly because of what we've just seen from both of these teams when they play each other in week 6. They're running it back. We once again go to map 5, but you know, the script writers had different ideas this time around. Geekay is taking it, and big picture, obviously they look very evenly matched, making it so close. I want to hone in on New Queen Street first, though, and talk a little bit about what gave Geekay the edge very early on in the game already. How did they start to run away with this one?
I mean, look, it kind of got pretty close towards the end. But this map was decided the first 2 minutes, and I think it was maybe a stroke of genius combined with like a little bit of luck as well, the way the series turned out. But getting the Freya ban in map 5 allows them to play the Winston that kind of puts Hawk on the Zarya at a bit of an uncomfortable position as well. Then as well, you force Chronic to swap over to the Sojourn, and Lethal plays the Comfort instead. And I think the map, just the first 2 minutes, they snowballed based on that compositional difference. Maimon is popping off on a Tracer, and it was just a really well-played start to New Queen Street that earned them the slot here.
Geekay came to play, man. They came out so strong in that last map, and when you're able to almost full cap New Queen Street, it's honestly the most punishing of all the push maps to get that deep into the enemy spawn. It's probably the hardest map to stage a comeback on. And so from there on out, you know, Geekay are just playing this game and like they know the status of the game overall. They're taking all these aggressive moves into your backline. They're finding these key trade kills. Like Lethal kept finding that 1 kill even in the losing fight, and it just took minutes on end for Spacestation to replicate even a shred of the progress that Geekay were able to grab. So, you know, great awareness from them, not only to come out so strong and set a huge push record, but then actually to slow things down and play really intelligently from there on out. That's why they booked their ticket to Stockholm, and it's their play today that gets in that. But I think they've also shown that they're a team that wants to take that next step and focus on the international stage.
Couldn't agree more. And we actually have an interview ready with Kaffa now to share some insight on how the series went from his perspective. Kaffa, first of all, of course, congratulations. You guys booked your tickets to Stockholm, but it doesn't end yet, right? You still have to grab that title of the region in this very playoff. Let's talk about how you got it done, though. This was a rematch. You guys just played them last week. This one went SSG's way. Did you make any changes in your approach for this week's match? How did you feel heading into this one? How do you feel right now? Just run me through your thought process.
That win it felt insane. Like we really needed that. I can't lie. I think this stage has been like super rough on like everyone. Like we've been, just not able to replicate our success, and just I don't know, like a lot of issues. And we played a lot of the Wu Yang comps before the patch, and we were pretty confident that was going to work. We didn't really get any tests, like true tests, until like the last 2 or 3 weeks of regular season. So it was kind of hard to get a grasp on how effective it was actually going to be in matches. And then when the patch changed and we lose that, it kind of made us pivot back to like the more traditional comps. And I think we're like the best on those comps, but like we just needed like a little bit of a confidence boost. And I think like Suravasa was like the turning point in that series.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a map where you guys, just took them head to head in like a lot of these deathmatch battles and started to look a lot stronger, playing around the Lucio Curie styles, as you said. I'm interested now, looking ahead to Stockholm, thinking about international rematches. I talked with Tree about this after Liquid just qualified, but I'm curious from your perspective, is there like one of those teams internationally that you really want to face off against, maybe as a rematch or as a first-time opponent?
It'd have to be Falcons. I think we had a really heartbreaking loss to them, map 5 in the quarterfinals of EWC. And I mean, that was like a pretty horrible feeling losing that game. So like, we just want to get revenge on those guys specifically. But I mean, we want to do well internationally. And if we verse them, then, hopefully we come out on top.
I know we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves talking about the World Finals because you still got to close out the Stage 3 playoffs. Yeah. But I'm actually kind of intrigued myself there. Like, how do you view yourself compared to EMEA and Korea right now? And I know we're looking ahead very far, but what do you think you have to practice and get prepared on ahead of the World Finals?
We're just gonna like iron a few things out, to be honest. Like, I mean, we had like a few days to change our comps completely from what we've been playing the entire stage, and we still won. So I think we're still like insanely confident in our ability to compete. And yeah, hopefully we just keep playing the same way we did towards the end of that series, heading into the next few matches and, get the 3-peat. That's the goal for now.
Right on. Well, we stay entertained every time you guys take to the server. So thank you so much for all you've shown today, and best of luck in your upcoming matches.
Thank you very much. See ya.